Chapter 2094. As soon as Yin Luofeng finished her sentence, a powerful aura arose from her body. At the same time, the spirit beasts in the divine grimoire space and the people from the Steel Flame Legion in the illusory formation all appeared: Fire, Little Mo, Cha-Cha, Xiao Shu, and Bai Xiao, who could leave the Tree of Life for a short period of time. Those spirit beasts were comparable to the ancestral dragon's aura. Even some of the people from the Steel Flame Legion had reached the ultimate god realm. Long Yan's expression became even uglier the moment the huge team appeared. He clenched his fists tightly with an obscure light in his eyes. As a member of the Dragon Clan, Long Yan was very arrogant. Similarly, he would not fight a battle he was not confident in. In particular, he could feel that Yun Zhao's aura was not inferior to his. Little worm, how did he treat you just now? You can return it now. Yun Luofeng took 2 steps forward as a powerful aura burst out. His white robes fluttered in the wind. If anyone tries to stop you, kill without mercy. She did not care who the other party was or where he came from. She only knew that if he hurt her, she would pay him back. Long Luo did not say anything. Although she was from the ancestral Dragon Clan, she did not think that Yin Luofeng was wrong. All of this was the result of Long Yan's stupidity. Therefore, no matter what Yin Luofeng wanted to do to him, he should bear it. Eldest Miss. Long Yan's expression was ugly as he turned to Long Luo, as if he wanted her to stand up and say something. Long Luo turned her head and deliberately did not look at Long Yan's eyes, but she snorted coldly in her heart. Long Yan was too arrogant. He was so lawless just because he was the second strongest person in the Dragon Clan. It would be good to teach him a lesson this time. Miss. Long Yan's gaze fell on Yin Luofeng again with a threatening light in his narrowed eyes. Let people off when possible. I, Long Yan, am the second strongest person in the ancestral Dragon Clan. Few people can defeat me even in the Divine Lord realm. If you really want to fight me, I won't let you off even if I die. The dignity of the Dragon Clan could not be violated. He did not want to retreat, even if he was not confident in this battle. Why didn't you think of this when you were dealing with the little worm? Yin Luofeng closed in on Long Yan once more. Now that this has happened to you, you're saying that one should forgive where possible? How could there be such a good thing in this world? Long Yan's eyes flashed. When he saw that Yin Luofeng was getting closer and closer to him, his arm suddenly turned into a dragon claw and swiped at Yin Luofeng. Unfortunately, before he could reach Yin Luofeng, a black figure had already landed in front of him. A fist as hard as a rock landed heavily on Long Yan's chest with a bang. Long Yan was instantly forced back a few steps, his face so dark that it looked like a storm was brewing. The ancestral dragons also moved at this moment. Their huge bodies swung towards the people on the ground. Qin Tianlao and the rest were affected as well. They were flung away by the tails of the ancestral dragons and fell to the ground in a sorry state. At this moment, the wind and clouds changed and thunder rumbled. The dragon's roar resounded throughout the sky, causing the residents of Qin City to hide themselves. They were afraid that this battle would affect them. Chapter 2095. A battle was about to break out. Just as the enormous dragon charged towards Yin Luofeng's group, a low and raspy voice gradually rang out in the air. It was like a heavy hammer, causing Long Yan's heart to feel as if it had been hammered, causing him to nearly vomit a mouthful of blood. The ancestral Dragon Clan is really daring. How dare they kill humans in my territory? Do they have any respect for me? As soon as he finished speaking, an elderly figure appeared in the sky. The old man stood with his hands clasped behind his back. He looked indifferent, sage-like and righteous. Qin Tianlao was elated when he saw the old man. However, he immediately swallowed his words when he saw the old man's eyes. You're a ruler? Long Yan's face changed when he saw the old man, and fear flashed in his eyes. In this world, there was a type of person known as a ruler. A ruler was the ruler of the wind and cloud continent, the first person below the true god level. As they already had 1 foot in the true god level, their power was not something a Sir God could compare to. Just like the clan leader of the ancestral Dragon Clan, he was also a ruler. However, He was alone and naturally could not fight against these humans. Otherwise, he would not have been forced to hide in the ancestral sea and could not step out of it for the rest of his life. If it was not for the sake of finding the eldest lady, they would not have left the ancestral sea. It seems like the ancestral dragon clan has forgotten the agreement. How dare they invade our territory? This is unforgivable. Boom! The old man merely raised his hand, and Long Yan's body flew out in an instant, as if he had been pushed by something. He fell to the ground pathetically and looked at the old man in front of him with an ugly expression. "Miss," the old man turned to look at Yin Luofeng and said with a smile, "As a human, you are, of course, under the protection of humans. So, you don't have to be afraid. These people from the Ancestral Dragon Clan have no way of fighting back against me." The old man's words were polite and friendly. For some reason, Yin Luofeng's heart surged with murderous intent when she faced the old man in front of her. Even she did not understand where this murderous intent came from. "Master," little Mo muttered to himself for a moment before replying, "have you forgotten that you once obtained Zhu Qian's inheritance?" The ruler of the Wind Cloud continent was the person who had once surrounded Zhu Qian. A cold light flashed in Yun Luofeng's eyes. She grabbed Yun Zhao's hand tightly and restrained the murderous intent in her heart. "Then shouldn't I thank you?" Her lips curled into a smile. Her voice was soft and ethereal as it slowly rang out. "There is no need to thank me." The old man did not hear the sarcasm in Yun Luofeng's voice at all. He smiled and said, "It's just that I think highly of your talent. I wonder if you would be willing to be a guest at my house." In that instant, all the humans present looked at Yun Luofeng with envious eyes. They didn't know what kind of dog's hit luck this woman had to be able to obtain the ruler's favor. If the ruler had taken a liking to them, then their futures would be limitless. "If I were to go with you, would I still be able to return?" Yin Luofeng sneered and retorted rudely. Yun Xiao did not say anything as he silently protected Yin Luofeng from the side. His cold eyes held a hint of vigilance as he stared at the old man. This old man was too powerful and was not on the same level as Long Yan. At the same time, Yun Xiao felt a sense of danger. Chapter 2096. The old man's eyes narrowed slightly, and an obscure light flashed through them. Then he smiled and said, "Miss, what do you mean by that? I only thought that you were talented and wanted to groom you. I didn't think that your vigilance would be so strong that you actually thought that I would hurt you." In a few steps, he walked down from the sky and stood in front of Yin Luofeng, facing the wind. "I think that this lady is right. This time, you're just setting up a trap." Suddenly, a faint voice was heard. In that instant, everyone couldn't help but look over. It was an extremely handsome man. He was as beautiful as an immortal who had walked out of a painting. His entire body shone with light. The man held a flute in his hand. With light and slow steps, he gradually walked from a short distance to everyone's eyes. When Yun Luofeng saw the man, an inexplicable expression appeared on her face. Moreover, her eyes never left the man's body. Yun Xiao hugged Yin Luofeng's waist in jealousy. "You could just look at me. This man looks so weak, there's nothing good to look at." His voice carried a strong sense of jealousy. Yin Luofeng retracted her gaze. "I just feel that. He looks like someone I know." Yun Xiao was a little confused. "Someone familiar? What kind of acquaintance does Feng have that he hasn't seen before?" "Zhu Qian." As if sensing Yun Zhao's confusion, Yin Luofeng's thin lips parted slightly, and he spat out this name. Zhu Qian. He never thought that they would meet again under such circumstances. "You are." The old man frowned slightly. It was obvious that he couldn't tell who this man was. "Actually, I don't know who I am either." The man smiled. His smile was very gentle, but it carried a feeling of keeping people at a distance. "Besides this identity, I should have another identity. I've come here today because of this feeling. Can you tell me who I am?" The old man's eyes darkened, but his expression did not change. "I don't care who you are. Why did you frame me just now?" "Frame me?" The man flashed an immortal smile, looking as if he didn't belong to this world. "Whether or not I'm framing you, I'm afraid you know in your heart. I also know that we're enemies. Who exactly are you?" For some reason, the old man felt a sense of familiarity when he looked at this man. However, when he thought of that person, he suppressed this feeling. Impossible. He couldn't be that person. That person was like a high and mighty king. Even all living beings in the world were trampled under his feet. How could the man in front of her be him? I've said it before. I don't know who I am. I just often hear a voice in my head. The man's calm eyes landed on the old man. That voice called me Zhu Qian. Do you know who Zhu Qian is? Zhu Qian? Boom. The old man's head exploded, and a look of terror appeared in his eyes. Zhu Qian actually came back? The man they had once regarded as a demon had actually returned? Back then, Zhu Qian had already been ambushed and was seriously injured. However, under the circumstances where all the experts on the continent had been mobilized, he was still able to kill half of them and break through the heavy encirclement. That battle was earth-shattering. From then on, Zhu Qian was crowned as a devil. He had originally thought that this man's soul had already dispersed. Who would have thought that he would actually come back? Chapter 2097. Looks like you really do know me. The man's lips curled into a smile. That smile was indifferent and ethereal. It actually seemed so unreal. Was my name in my previous life called Zhu Qian? The old man's expression had already calmed down from his initial anger. He laughed mockingly. I don't care what your identity was in your past life. However, I know that you do not have the power to control us in this life. Now that you've delivered yourself to our doorstep, I shall avenge my past humiliation and kill you. Boom. Suddenly, the old man's aura burst forth, and he instantly rushed toward Zhu Qian. His eyes were filled with killing intent, and it was clear that he was determined to kill Zhu Qian. The old man's aura was too strong. When he attacked, the surrounding ground was swept up by the hurricane brought by his body. Yun Xiao raised his hand and protected Yun Luofeng in his embrace. He used his sleeves to block the violent hurricane, and his cold eyes carried a stern look. Azure wings! Yun Luofeng shouted when he saw the old man rushing towards Zhu Qian. At that moment, Yun Yi's huge body appeared in front of Zhu Qian, blocking the old man's attack. Boom! A huge explosion rang out from Yun Yi's body. His body was instantly shaken off, his skin and flesh split open. Fortunately, Yun Yi was a puppet, so even though he already had consciousness, he still did not feel pain. Otherwise, he would have immediately fainted from the pain. Zhu Qian, leave this place immediately. Yun Luofeng lifted his eyes and said coldly to the old man in front of him. At this moment, everyone's gazes once again returned to Yun Luofeng and Yun Xiao. The old man's expression was a little ugly. He raised his chin slightly and stood with his hands behind his back. He still had the demeanor of an immortal. Miss Yin, I just saved you. Why are you stopping me for the sake of Zhu Qian, the traitor of humanity? Yun Luofeng laughed coldly. This is the first time I've heard you speak of your own shamelessness and selfishness so naturally. Today, with me here, don't even think about touching a hair on him. Speaking of which, it was only her first time meeting Zhu Qian. However, Zhu Qian was her master. Without Zhu Qian, she wouldn't have been able to control the array formation and the puppet-making technique. More importantly, from the first moment she met Zhu Qian, she was filled with admiration for this man. That kind of respect was not only for Zhu Qian's strength, but also for his temperament. Miss, the man turned his gaze towards Yun Luofeng and smiled faintly. Do we know each other? You don't know me, but I know you. She had achieved what she had today by standing on the shoulders of giants. Whether it was the divine medical encyclopedia or the things that Zhu Qian had left for her, they had all allowed her to grow very quickly. The old man had not expected Yun Luofeng to be acquainted with Zhu Qian. His expression had already darkened, and he no longer had his initial friendliness and politeness. I originally wanted to groom you, but you are acquainted with this man. If I groom you, it would be the same as adding another enemy to the human race. But, at this point, the old man's tone changed, and he continued. If you're willing to draw a line with him, I'm willing to give you a chance. Hearing this, those who were gloating couldn't help but sigh. It was truly infuriating to compare oneself to others. They didn't know how this girl had caught the eye of the ruler. As for her choice, it would certainly be to draw a line with this immortal-like man. Chapter 2098. No one would give up on such generous conditions. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng's expression was very solemn. If you fight with this old man, what are your chances of winning? 30%. Yin Xiao answered very truthfully. 30% chance of winning was not impossible. However, Yin Luofeng suddenly remembered that there was not just one person who had attacked Zhu Qian. In other words, there were still a few old men with this kind of strength in the spirit god mainland. What if all of them came? Then how confident would they be in this battle? Yin Luofeng's eyes flashed as she laughed coldly. If you really had good intentions and wanted to groom me, you would not have sent the Qin family to cause trouble for me. The Qin family would not have mobilized so many people for a branch disciple. Therefore, from the way Qin Tianlao had looked at the old man, Yin Luofeng could tell that there was something fishy between the two of them. Let me guess. Yin Luofeng stroked her chin, and the smile on her face deepened. I should have something that you want on me, right? And you're the only one who has discovered it for now. The rulers of this mainland have not sensed it. Otherwise, you would not be the only one here today. The old man's eyes were clearly shocked. Even if it was just a flash, Yin Luofeng still caught it. She was even more certain of her guess. Am I right? She raised her brows and smiled faintly. The old man's expression gradually returned to normal. So what if you are? If you die, I'm afraid that no one will know about this. This time, he did not deny it. Instead, he directly exposed his character. Since this girl had come here, he could not let her leave. Yin Luofeng shrugged and smiled. Even if you kill us, there are still others here. Someone will definitely spread the news. Do you really think that you can hide it from everyone in the world? If that's the case, then I'll just kill them all. The old man's tone was very indifferent. It was as if he hadn't killed a person, but an ant. However, the people who had been watching the show immediately became vigilant when they heard this. Some of them even instinctively stood together and looked at the old man warily. They didn't think that a promise would be effective against such a powerhouse. Now that he said such words, he would definitely do such a thing. You Tian, Long Yin roared. Don't forget, our dragon clan also has a ruler. Even if you humans rely on your numbers to kill our ancestral dragon clan. However, the strength of our ancestral dragon clan is still there. If you dare to touch us, the clan leader will not forgive you. The old man called you Tian glanced at Long Yin indifferently. I already have a way to deal with this. Do you think you have the chance to tell the ancestral dragon clan who the murderer is? Also, when I kill someone, I never let anyone find out that I was the one who killed them. After these words were spoken, Yu Tian's killing intent intensified. Even the entire sky darkened, as if it was enveloped by a layer of dark clouds. Yin Luofeng quietly looked at everything in front of him. The words she had just said were to put everyone on the opposing side of Yu Tian. Long Yin had remained fearless from the moment she had revealed her power. This meant that he must still have some trump cards up his sleeves. Now, after these words, the Dragon Clan and Yu Tian had completely become enemies. Then, they would be a little safer. Yin Xiao naturally understood Yin Luofeng's intentions right from the beginning. Hence, he only stood quietly by the side and looked at the beautiful woman next to him with a gentle gaze. Chapter 2099. Long Yan's face turned from green to white, then from white to green. He glared angrily at the cold and arrogant old man. Have you forgotten the agreement between the humans and the ancestral dragon clan many years ago? Agreement? Yu Tian smiled mockingly. What does that have to do with me? Anyway, no one will know that I was the one who killed the dragon clan. Isn't that enough? After saying that, he turned his gaze towards Yin Luofeng. A cold light flashed in his eyes. If you had been willing to leave with me, then so many things wouldn't have happened now. So, you can only blame yourself for not being sensible. In the beginning, he had not intended to use violence against Yin Luofeng. That was on the premise that Yin Luofeng would listen to him and leave with him. But now, this woman's temper was too unyielding. Being soft definitely wouldn't work, so he had to use force. When Long Yin heard this, he was so angry that his entire body trembled. He waved at Long Luo and said, "Eldest miss, come to my side immediately. I want to see how this group of people can shake the dignity of the Dragon Clan." Long Luo bit her lip and stood quietly beside Yin Luo Feng. It was as if she had not heard Long Yan's words. Her large eyes were filled with stubbornness. "Eldest miss," Long Yin could not help but shout again. His tone was anxious. "I won't." Long Luo's eyelashes were very long and fluttered like wings. Her large, clear eyes were filled with determination, and her adorable little face was flushed pink. "I want to be with Miss Yin." When she was in danger, it was this woman in white who descended from the sky and rescued her. From then on, she worshipped Yin Luo Feng as a god. Yu Tian's body had already moved. He was very fast and was about to reach Yin Luo Feng and the others in an instant. Yin Xiao was also ready to fight, but at this moment, Long Yin took a quick step forward and blocked Yu Tian. The other party's powerful energy penetrated his body, and it exploded with a bang. His body was also thrown out like a rag. Long Yin wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and stood up from the ground. His body swayed a little as he staggered towards Yu Tian. Very quickly, he walked over to Yu Tian's side. With his back facing Yin Luo Feng and the others, he said, "I know that you saved the eldest Mississippi. I also know that based on our previous conflicts, I can't possibly beg you for anything. However, on account of the fact that eldest young lady chose you when she was in danger, you should bring eldest young lady away from here quickly. I will block him with the ancestral Dragon Clan." Long Yan's back was very stiff and his steps were slightly heavy, but he did not take a single step back. That's right, the conflict between him and Yin Luo Feng was very deep, and he had also hurt the little worm. But Long Luo was the eldest daughter of the ancestral Dragon Clan. He was also the target that all the dragons had to protect with their lives. If the young miss could leave safely, he was willing to entrust her to Yin Luo Feng. "You reptiles want to stop me?" Yu Qianni raised his hand, and his power surged out like a light wave, once again bombarding Long Yan's chest. Long Yan's body quickly flew out, and he spat out a mouthful of blood with a wah sound. He could not stop it no matter how hard he tried. "Grandpa Long Yan." Long Luo hurried to Long Yan's side, her eyes filled with worry. No matter how big of a mistake Long Yan had just made, his loyalty to the Dragon Clan would never change. Yin Luo Feng looked at Long Yin, who was unable to get up, and frowned slightly. Could it be that she had guessed wrong? Did Long Yin not have any hidden cards? I'll publish one chapter first. There will be many more soon. Chapter 2100. Cough. Long Yin coughed again and spat out a mouthful of blood. His elderly face was pale. He pushed Long Luo aside and shouted, "Eldest lady, leave now." He staggered forward a few steps and almost fell to the ground. However, he managed to steady himself, and his elderly body was like a mountain. "Leave." Yu Tian's expression was still calm, but a cold glint flashed in his eyes. "I'm afraid you won't have the chance." When Yu Tian's aura grew stronger and stronger, the heavens and earth changed color, and the sun and moon lost their light. It was as if a layer of dark clouds had shrouded the sky, causing everyone standing on the ground to feel a deep pressure. Yun Xiao protected Yin Luo Feng firmly as she stared coldly at Yu Tian with an expressionless face. "Little worm, Yun Yi and Xiao Mo, bring Mu Qingfei and Long Luo back to the illusory array immediately." Under Yu Tian's aura, Yin Luo Feng felt an unprecedented sense of danger. At a time like this, the only thing she could do was to minimize the casualties. "Mistress." Little Worm's mouth twitched unwillingly. It was true that Little Worm was afraid of death, but when faced with true danger, he was unwilling to abandon Yin Luo Feng and the others. Yun Yi's expression was a little bashful, but he was also unwilling to flee at the last minute. "Master, I'm a puppet." He hesitated for a moment before speaking in a hoarse voice. Puppets were immortal and had no sense of pain. However, as a puppet, if his bones were turned into ashes, No matter how powerful Yin Luofeng was, he would not be able to come back from the dead. Go back, this is an order. Yin Luofeng's voice carried an unquestionable determination as he shouted fiercely. The other spiritual beasts were also very unwilling as they stood behind Yin Luofeng, unwilling to leave. If it's just me and Yun Xiao, we're confident that we can come out unscathed. The few of you here will only distract us. Yin Luofeng's tone was very strict, and it stunned the spiritual beasts. Their hearts were filled with grievances. However, they also knew that Yin Luofeng was speaking the truth. This time, they did not resist. They grabbed the clueless Long Luo and Mu Qingfei and hid in the illusory array. Similarly, the Steel Flame Legion was also persuaded to return on the entire street. Other than the Sir Gods who had surrounded Little Worm, there were only her and Yun Xiao, as well as Grand Preceptor Feng Jin, who was Zhu Qian's reincarnation. As for the ancestral dragon clan, finally, Yin Luofeng looked at Long Yin and asked, "Do you have the confidence to defeat him?" Her voice came from within his soul, causing Long Yin to be taken aback. He looked at Yin Luofeng with a complicated expression and said, "Actually, I've already informed our patriarch. He's on his way here. What I need to do is stall for time. I asked eldest Miss to leave just now because I was afraid that she would be in danger before the clan leader arrived. Stall for time?" Yin Luofeng's eyes darkened as his gaze gradually turned towards Yin Xiao. "Leave it to me." He held her hand and said firmly, "I won't let you be in danger." The man's words made Yin Luofeng's heart filled with warmth, and the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. "All right, I believe you." She believed in Yun Xiao. She believed even more that as long as this man was here, any danger could be resolved. Yun Xiao slowly retracted her gaze from Yin Luofeng and turned her grim gaze towards Yutian. Her expressionless face grew even colder. Chapter 2101. Puppet. Yutian's eyes flashed with an obscure light as he said slowly, "So, that kid was a puppet. I actually didn't realize it. Even Zhu Qian didn't have the ability to let a puppet have human thoughts. How did you do it?" Yutian was very curious about this question. If he could control this ability, from then on, there would only be one ruler in Spirit God Continent. "You want to know?" Yin Luofeng's lips curled up. "Perhaps you won't have the chance in this lifetime." Yutian's expression turned cold as the storm that surged out of his body became stronger. In the dark void, a thunderclap came crashing down, smashing a pitch-black pit on the ground. Refusing a toast only to drink a forfeit. Since that's the case, don't blame me for being ruthless. Fenger, be careful. When Yutian's power erupted, it was as if there was an invisible hand that destroyed everything around him. At that moment, Yin Xiao. He couldn't care less about fighting with Yutian. He immediately turned around and protected Yin Luofeng in his arms. He pressed her head tightly against his shoulder. The moment the power destroyed, those with weaker defenses were directly sent flying by the aura. Under the horrified gazes of the others, they gradually lost their breath. Yutian didn't even move his hand, and those god lords lost their lives. How could such a powerful power not be terrifying? Qin Tianlao's first thought was to escape. However, his legs kept trembling and he couldn't move. He could only look at Yutian in horror. Fortunately, Yutian didn't care about him at all. He didn't even bother to look at him. His eyes were fixed on Yin Luofeng, who was protected in Yun Zhao's arms. His expression didn't change. "Tell me, what is the relationship between you and Zhu Qian?" At the same time, Feng Jin also turned his head. His handsome face revealed a puzzled expression. "Miss, you know me too?" Yin Luofeng's body gradually left Yun Zhao's embrace. The corners of his lips curled up slightly. "I know you, but I also don't know you. Logically speaking, I should call you Master." "Master?" Feng Jin's expression became more and more puzzled. It was obvious that he was thinking about something. "I keep feeling that I have forgotten something," but he couldn't remember what it was at the moment. "Zhu Qian, you're actually still alive?" Yutian's gaze finally landed on Zhu Qian again. There was an obvious flash of surprise in his eyes. Zhu Qian was only a piece of trash right now. So, why was he able to survive under his own power? Compared to her, I must kill you first." Very soon, he regained his senses and a murderous aura surged out. His body was like a bolt of lightning as he shot towards Feng Jin. Feng Jin was still immersed in his own thoughts and didn't notice Yution in front of him. His brows were tightly furrowed as he thought hard about the things he had forgotten. "Be careful," Yin Luofeng hurriedly shouted. Yin Xiao was also about to make a move. However, at this moment, a silver figure pounced from afar and blocked in front of Feng Jin. The opponent's attack also passed through his body and exploded in his chest. Puff! The young man had a head full of silver hair, and his long robe fluttered in the wind. There was a mournful smile on his face as he fell from the sky like a beautiful flower petal into Feng Jin's embrace. Chapter 21:02. It's you? Feng Jin's heart ached when he saw the pale-faced youth in his arms. That kind of pain felt as if it had crossed an entire century, causing his heart to clench fiercely. Mo Qiancheng? Yin Luofeng also saw the youth in Feng Jin's arms and was stunned. "Why are you here?" Cough, cough. Mo Qiancheng coughed as blood flowed continuously from his mouth. His originally clear eyes were now covered in a faint white mist. He turned his head with difficulty and stared unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng. "Actually, I should have realized a long time ago that you are not Zhu Qian," he laughed. His laughter was filled with bitterness and helplessness, as well as a deep pain that ordinary people couldn't detect. "But I have been deceiving myself all this time. Even though you have told me many times that you were lying to me, I have always told myself that you are Zhu Qian because I have waited for so many years, even if it was just a fantasy." Mo Qiancheng slowly closed his eyes as a teardrop fell from the corner of the youth's eye. After a long time, he opened his eyes and looked at Feng Jin with infatuation and longing. "Zhu Qian, I have finally met you. Even though your personality has changed greatly, you are still the man that I want to pursue for the rest of my life. For you, I have no regrets in life and death." Feng Jin's hand froze, and he lowered his eyes slightly. "Even though I don't remember you, I clearly know that there is definitely an unusual relationship between us. So, I will not let you die. Zhu Qian, I never thought that I would be able to see you in this lifetime. I also never thought that I would die in your arms. This kind of ending is the best for me." After he said this, Mo Qiancheng slowly closed his eyes. His breathing was very weak, as if it would disappear at any time. "I said that you cannot die, so no one can let you die." At this moment, Feng Jin didn't sense the tremble in his voice. He only knew that he couldn't let Mo Qiancheng die here. "Move aside." Yin Luofeng slowly walked to Feng Jin's side and said, "Let me take a look at his injuries." Feng Jin was stunned. He turned his head and met the woman's clear eyes. He nodded and said, "Okay." After he finished speaking, he had already retreated to the side. However, his brows were still filled with worry. His 5 viscera and 6 bowels have been shattered, and he has no way to recover. Yin Luofeng looked at Mo Qiancheng's injuries and continued, "However, there is another way to save him." As soon as she finished speaking, Yin Luofeng raised her hand, and a dark green fruit appeared in her hand. "This is something I obtained from the Beast Continent's Dragon Clan. It has the effect of reviving the dead. As long as the time of his death is less than an hour, I can save him." As he spoke, Yin Luofeng's heart throbbed. If she had rushed back to the 7 continents earlier, perhaps Hongwan would not have died. Even if she was already dead, she could still pull her back from the netherworld. Yin Luofeng no longer thought about it. He took a deep breath and forcefully stuffed the fruit into Mo Qiancheng's mouth. "I know that you are not dead. Eat this fruit, and you will recover immediately." Mo Qiancheng raised his head tiredly. He turned his head and saw Feng Jin's sorrowful eyes. He slowly nodded. When Feng Jin heard Yin Luofeng's words, his heart was already at ease. He slowly walked to Mo Qiancheng's side and held his hand tightly. Then, he turned to look at Yin Luofeng. Chapter 21:03. "Thank you, Mississippi. If you can save him, I will do anything for you unconditionally for the rest of my life." At this moment, there was only one thought in Feng Jin's mind, and that was to never let Zhu Qian leave him no matter what. However, Just as Feng Jin's heart settled down, the hand that he had been holding gradually slipped and fell to the ground with a thud. What's going on? Yun Luofeng's expression changed, and she quickly stepped forward. She grabbed Mo Qinqing's chin tightly and forced him to open his mouth. At that moment, a small, dark green fruit fell from Mo Qinqing's mouth, completely unharmed. Yun Luofeng's eyes gradually darkened when she saw this. It looks like he's determined to die. He had purposely not taken the fruit that I had given him. Feng Jin's handsome face turned pale at this moment. His eyes stared at Mo Qiansheng in disbelief as he asked in a trembling voice, why? Suddenly, Feng Jin seemed to remember something and immediately turned towards Yun Luofeng. Didn't you say that a dead person can be saved within an hour? Then think of a way to save him now. As long as you can save him, I'll promise you anything. Even if he had to give up his life, he would be willing to give it up. Yun Luofeng bent down and picked up the fruit. She then placed it next to Mo Qinqing's lips, and the spiritual energy in her palm gradually gathered towards the fruit. In an instant, the fruit turned into a green liquid and slowly flowed into Mo Qinqing's mouth. However, Mo Qinsheng seemed to have made up his mind to die. Even though he had already lost his life, he still could not allow the liquid to flow into his mouth. Yun Luofeng's brows were tightly furrowed. After a long pause, she withdrew the liquid, which was enveloped in spiritual energy. Her expression was very solemn. There's no way to save him. It wasn't that she was incapable of saving Mo Qiansheng. Rather, to a person who was determined to die, no matter how capable she was, she could not possibly save him from King Yama's palace. Boom! Feng Jin seemed to have suffered a heavy blow. His handsome face was now completely pale and colorless. He lowered his head to look at the youth lying in a pool of blood, and the pain in his heart poured out uncontrollably. Why did you do this? Feng Jin lowered his body and slowly lifted Mo Qinqing up from the ground. His expression was filled with gentleness and regret that he had never shown before. Are you doing this to take revenge on me? Although I don't know how I've hurt you, I know that you're the one I've been searching for. His slender fingers gently caressed that handsome face. His expression was very gentle. Do you think you can leave me like this? No, you won't get what you want in this lifetime. Feng Jin carried Mo Qinqing's corpse and slowly walked towards the back. As he walked to Yun Luofeng's voice, he paused for a moment. Using a voice that only the two of them could hear, he said, even if I don't remember the things of the past, however, in the instant that Mo Qinqing died, I suddenly remembered a fragment. I seem to have left something behind in the Endless City. That thing will definitely be of help to you. Endless City? Yun Luofeng was startled. Wasn't this Endless City her secret in the Wuhui continent? Zhu Qian left something in Endless City? It seemed that she had to make a trip back to Endless City after leaving this place. Chapter 2104. You want to leave? Yu Tian snorted coldly, intending to stop Feng Jin and Mo Qiansheng from leaving. However, at this moment, Yin Xiao suddenly stepped forward and blocked Yu Tian's attack. Yu Tian's eyes were cold as he shouted, "Get lost!" Boom! His strength was very strong, so strong that it was enough to destroy heaven and earth. However, under his powerful strength, Yin Xiao only took 2 steps back as he stared expressionlessly at the old man in front of him. Yu Tian's eyes flashed with a trace of astonishment. He hadn't expected Yin Xiao to be able to block his attack. However, he quickly calmed down. The hurricane lifted his long robe, making him look like an immortal. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao worriedly as he clenched his fists tightly. Others couldn't tell, but Yin Luofeng, who understood Yin Xiao very well, knew that the attack just now had already injured Yin Xiao's body. He just wouldn't show it. This man, no matter how badly injured he was, wouldn't show a trace of it in front of the enemy. Instead, he endured it. You better not be a busybody. Otherwise, after I kill Zhu Qian, the first person I will kill will be you. Yin Xiao didn't reply and took the initiative to attack. His speed was very agile, like a leopard in the dark. His cold eyes carried a decisive sharpness. Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao, who was fighting with Yu Tian, then turned to Long Yin and asked in a low voice, "How much longer until your Dragon Clan leader arrives?" "I'm not sure. If the clan leader doesn't encounter any unexpected situations along the way, there should be about an incense stick's time." "An incense stick's time?" Yin Luofeng gently stroked his chin and gently narrowed his eyes. "An incense stick's time is already enough." The moment his voice fell, he summoned the dragon scale armor, and a long sword appeared in his hand. His body flashed as he shot towards Yution like a bolt of lightning. Boom! Yution, who was fighting with Yun Xiao, didn't notice Yin Luofeng coming from the side. It wasn't until Yin Luofeng neared him that he suddenly saw the imposing demonic aura and hurriedly dodged to the side. At the same time, his palm landed on Yin Luofeng's chest. Yin Luofeng quickly retreated a few steps and fell into a warm embrace. "Yun Xiao, we'll hold him back." Yin Luofeng's brows sank as he slowly said, "They only needed to hold on for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, all right." Yin Xiao agreed without asking anything. He released the body in his embrace, and his cold eyes once again looked towards Yution. The sky was overcast. After Yution sneered twice, his body suddenly disappeared in midair. In the blink of an eye, he was already behind Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao. The aura on his body transformed into a sharp longsword that slashed down from midair with an irresistible force. Boom! Yun Xiao hugged Yin Luofeng and dodged to the side, evading Yution's attack. The place where they had just been standing was left with a deep ravine by the fierce sword wind, as if the entire ground had been split open. But before they could react, Yution moved again. On the streets, the surviving humans were cowering to the side, trying to reduce their presence as much as possible, especially those who had gone against Yin Luofeng when they heard Qin Tianlao's order. They were so scared that they didn't even dare to breathe. Chapter 2105. These two people were able to remain unscathed under the attack of a powerhouse like Yution. Just how tough was their strength? If they had fought against them just now, how good would the outcome have been? The crowd's resentment towards Qin Tianlao rose at the thought of this, and they glared fiercely at him. Compared to these people, Qin Tianlao's expression was even uglier, and his heart was filled with hatred towards his dead son. If that bastard had not lied about Yin Luofeng's power, he would not have sent people to surround him. Now, after witnessing Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao's power, cold sweat began to form on his forehead. In the sky, the battle was growing more and more intense. The crowd could only see a few figures in the sky, but they were unable to capture their movements. Yin Luofeng's power was becoming weaker and weaker. She quickly took out a spiritual medicine and consumed it. Unfortunately, she had consumed too many spiritual medicines, and the spiritual medicine no longer had the initial rapid recovery effect. "Fenger, watch out!" Suddenly, a strong force rushed towards her, and then she fell into a warm embrace. His black robes fluttered in front of him as the man protected her tightly in his arms. His handsome face was right in front of her, so clear. Boom! The old man's hand suddenly landed on Yun Xiao's shoulder. This time, Yun Xiao could not hold back the blood that was surging endlessly in his heart. A mouthful of bright red blood sprayed out and splattered on Yin Luofeng's face. Yin Luofeng's pupils shrank. "Yun Xiao. Fenger, it's all right. I'll protect you." Even in the face of such a situation, Yun Xiao still used his gentle voice to comfort her. He raised his hand and gently wiped away the tear in the corner of the woman's eye. He then said gently, "Trust me, I'll let you leave this place safe and sound." "Yin Xiao." Yin Luofeng held Yun Xiao's hand tightly. Her lips trembled gently. "What are you doing?" Yun Xiao lowered his gaze and planted a gentle kiss on Yin Luofeng's forehead. His voice was gentle and warm. "I'll never go back on my promise to you." He slowly released the woman in his arms and slowly walked towards the old man. At that moment, the man's aura changed. There was a murderous intent in his callousness, as if a sharp sword had pierced through a person's heart. Furthermore, his aura was still rising nonstop, but it was very chaotic, causing Yin Luofeng's heart to clench. "Yin Xiao." Her voice caused the man's footsteps to stop, but in the end he did not turn around, his back to the woman behind him. I, Yin Xiao, have no regrets to be able to meet you in this life. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng's expression darkened. I don't care what you want to do, but before that, you must fulfill the promise you made to me. You said that if I don't let you die, then you will never die. If I let you die, you won't even frown. Your life belongs to me. Without my permission, who allowed you to risk your life? Besides, I, Yin Luofeng, am not such a weak and incompetent person. I order you to follow me for the rest of your life and never give up. If you can't do it, I'll never see you again in this lifetime. The woman's words pierced the heart and caused the man to stop in his tracks. Because his back was facing Yin Luofeng could not see his expression. Yin Xiao. Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao and continued. You said that you won't go back on your word. Then, you can't give up on your previous promise either. Chapter 2106. Moreover, you're not a person who doesn't keep his promises. In that moment, Yin Xiao seemed to have forgotten the promise he had made back then. How could he have the heart to go back on something he had promised? Yu Tian was not in a hurry to be moved. He smiled sarcastically. Even in such a situation, you don't forget to express your love? I, Yu Tian, am not a heartless person. Since that's the case, I can let you all speak your fill. Yin Luofeng lowered his eyes and slowly walked to Yin Xiao's side, holding his hand tightly. Yin Xiao, I believe that even if you don't put your life on the line, we will still be able to survive. Yin Xiao looked at Yin Luofeng with a complicated expression. To me, there is nothing more important than you being alive. Even if he had to give up his life, he was willing. I will not allow you to do this. Yin Luofeng's face darkened, but when he saw Yin Xiao's expression, he calmed down. Could it be that you want us to become orphans and widows? A hint of heartache appeared in Yin Xiao's eyes. He had already forgotten that if Yin Luofeng didn't exist in this world, then the entire world wouldn't attract him at all. And Yin Luofeng was definitely the same. Have you said enough? Yu Tian didn't give the two a chance to speak. He smiled coldly. Since you've said enough, I'll send you to the underworld to be a pair of mandarin ducks. In an instant, Yu Tian rushed towards Yin Luofeng. His killing intent was awe-inspiring and incomparably powerful. Yin Luofeng's fingers caressed her stomach, and a trace of gentleness appeared in her demonic eyes. After a long time, she raised her head and faced the incoming attack. Boom! Seeing that Yu Tian was about to reach Yin Luofeng, Yin Xiao raised her hand, wanting to pull Yin Luofeng over. But at this moment, a golden light shot out from Yin Luofeng's body. This light shot straight into Yin Xiao, piercing through the layers of obstruction. This golden light formed a protective layer around Yin Luofeng's body. When Yu Tian's palm landed on this protective layer, there seemed to be a strange power that bounced back his strength, slamming him into the ground. Fresh blood flowed from the corner of Yu Tian's mouth. His eyes were filled with shock as he stared unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng's abdomen, which had already become visible. The others were also stunned. Didn't Yu Tian want to hurt Yin Luofeng just now? Why did he injure himself? While everyone was trying to figure out what had happened, the golden light that had enveloped Yin Luofeng had already disappeared. The dark clouds had also been dispersed by the golden light, revealing the azure sky. What Yin Luofeng didn't know was that in his lower abdomen, a small life was smiling brightly. This was as far as he could help her. That power was all the spirit chi he had left behind in the past. It could create a protective layer for the mother's body. If the mother's body was in danger, the protective layer would be activated and the power attacking the mother's body would be reflected back. The stronger the attack, the greater the reflected damage. This was also the reason why Yu Tian was injured. Thinking about how he was going to be born in a few months, the little life smile became even brighter. Unfortunately, once he was born, his past memories would disappear. Thus, he could only use his limited time to reminisce about his wonderful life. Roar! Right at this moment, a dragon's roar rang out from a distance. This dragon's roar shook the entire world, causing the entire sky to tremble. It's him. Why has this old fellow rushed over? Yu Tian's expression changed drastically. He looked at Yin Luofeng and Yin Xiao, and a dark light flashed across his eyes. I'll forgive you this time. Next time, I definitely won't let you off. Chapter 2107. As soon as he finished speaking, Ution's body flashed, and he disappeared from the streets. Not long after he disappeared, a huge figure flew over from a short distance away. His body was very long and sturdy, as if a huge mountain was blocking the sky. Long Yin, tell me what happened. The huge dragon's nasal voice made everyone's hearts tremble. Long Yin hurriedly stepped forward and respectfully recounted everything that had happened today. As he listened, the huge dragon's expression darkened and his eyes sparkled with a dark and gloomy light. That old man Ution is extremely audacious. He dared to attack a member of the dragon clan. I will never let this bunch of people off. The huge dragon's gaze turned towards Yun Luofeng, and he said slowly, Miss, thank you for saving my daughter's life. The ancestral dragon clan will never forget this kindness. Long Yin, aren't you going to apologize to this lady? Yes. Long Yan's face was flushed red, but he no longer had his initial arrogance and disdain. He said shamefully, Miss Yun, I have offended you previously. Please forgive me, Miss Long. Yun Luofeng glanced at Long Yin. The person you injured was not me, so you should apologize to Little Worm. If he forgives you, then this matter can be put behind us. If he is unwilling, then you will not stop until he forgives you. After saying this, Yun Luofeng released Little Worm and Long Luo. The moment Long Luo saw the clan leader, tears welled up in her eyes, and her face was filled with grievance. Father, the clan leader looked at Long Luo's aggrieved little face and sighed helplessly. Such a big thing happened. Why didn't you return home? Long Luo bit her lip and lowered her head. I heard that you wanted to marry me to Fifth Elder's grandson. I didn't want to marry him, so I escaped. Fifth Elder? A look of surprise flashed across the clan leader's eyes, and he lowered his voice. When did I say such things? Where did you hear this from? Long Luo was so aggrieved that she almost cried. I overheard it when Fifth Elder's grandson was talking to someone else. He also said that father had already agreed to it. I didn't want to marry him, so I escaped. The initially doubtful clan leader's aura instantly darkened when he heard this. It was terrifying. Long Yin, you handle this matter. Yes, Patriarch. Long Yin said respectfully. The grandson of the Fifth Elder? What the hell was that? How dare he covet the eldest miss? And they even announced that it was an order from the Patriarch? Would the Patriarch be stupid enough to betroth young miss to that kind of hedonistic son? More importantly, because of that idiot's mistake, eldest young miss had suffered so much outside. This was something that he would never forgive her for. As for the Chung family, the clan leader muttered to himself for a moment before a murderous glint flashed across his eyes. You don't have to do anything to the Chung family. Yin Luofeng glanced at the clan leader and said calmly, My subordinate has a grudge against the Chung family. He must avenge himself. All right. The clan leader nodded in agreement. I won't interfere in this matter. However, the Chung family has caused so much harm to my daughter. My daughter has many followers in the ancestral dragon clan. Those followers will definitely find trouble with the Chung family. I can't stop them from doing so. Yin Luofeng smiled faintly. It's enough that you don't interfere. I won't interfere with the others. Chung Huiyin had been hurt so badly by the Chung family. He must personally deal with the Chung family members. Chapter 2108. The clan leader's gaze suddenly fell on Little Worm, and he frowned. Little fellow, have we met before? Little Worm's eyes were filled with confusion. I don't know you. In his memory, there was no such thing as a clan leader. Is that so? The clan leader looked a little dazed. He felt that this little fellow had an aura that was very familiar. Long Yin, hurry up and apologize to this little fellow. The clan leader seemed to remember the mistakes that Long Yin had made and said sternly, Yes. Long Yin slowly walked towards Little Worm with a look of shame on his face. Little master, I was indeed in the wrong in this matter. I have offended you in many ways. Please forgive me. Little Worm scoffed and raised his little head proudly. Have you forgotten how you treated me in the past? How dare you disrespect my master and mistress and now you're begging me to forgive you. Dream on. Then what must I do for you to forgive me? Long Yin asked softly. Little Worm stroked his chin. However, seeing that you were willing to block the danger with your own body, I can give you a chance. If the Dragon Clan kills all the people surrounding me, I will forgive you. In reality, ever since Long Yin had blocked the danger with his own body, Little Worm no longer hated him as much as before. However, he had to teach this old man a lesson and see how he would continue to be so arrogant in the future. Thank you, little master. Long Yin heaved a sigh of relief. His forehead was covered in cold sweat, and he instinctively raised his hand to wipe it away. Everyone else had long been scared out of their wits. There was only one thought in their minds. That was to escape. However, just as they turned around, the path behind them was blocked by the huge bodies of a group of giant dragons. They were completely surrounded and could not escape even if they had wings. You've wrongly accused a member of the ancestral dragon clan. I can't give you another chance to live. Long Yin, you must handle this matter properly. Yes, clan leader. Long Yin had long hated this group of people to the core. It was only now that he had the time to care about them. At the thought of Qin Tianlao framing him and making him commit such a big mistake, he had the urge to tear him into pieces. Qin Tianlao, when you framed others, did you ever think that you would end up like this? Mu Qingfei was also released by Yun Luofeng. She looked at Qin Tianlao coldly. Moreover, even a vicious tiger will not eat its cubs, but you killed your own son. Hua! The crowd was in an uproar. They only knew that Qin Tianlao wanted to kill Little Worm, but they did not know that Qin Yuan was dead. He died in the hands of Qin Tianlao. Long Yin was even more furious. Previously, he had been dumbfounded by such a hypocrite. He even killed his own son. What else was there that he wouldn't do? At this moment, Qin Tianlao really wanted to find a hole to hide in. At least it would be better than being mocked. I still have one more thing that I need your ancestral dragon clan's help with. Yin Luofu no longer bothered with Qin Tianlao and the others. He turned to look at the clan leader and hesitated for a moment before speaking. What is it, Miss Yin? Please speak. Yin Luofeng was silent for a moment. I want the urine of your ancestral dragon clan. Urine? The clan leader was stunned. What did she want the ancestral dragon's urine for? However, the clan leader also knew what to ask and what not to. So he only asked, how much do you want? Chapter 2109. Probably. Yin Luofeng thought about it and said, half a bottle should be enough. The ancestral dragon produced very little urine, only 1 or 2 drops at a time. This half a bottle of urine was the crystallization of the little worm's efforts over several months. At the same time, the dragon saliva fruit was about to bear fruit once more. With this half a bottle of liquid, her dragon saliva fruit would bear fruit again. All right, I'll get the ancestral dragons under me to prepare it for you. The clan leader smiled and agreed. Thank you, Yin Luofeng said politely. No need to thank me. This is what I should do. You saved my daughter first, then you were wronged by Long Yin. No matter what I do, I can't make up for Long Yin's mistakes. The clan leader's words eased Yin Luofeng's expression. Fortunately, the clan leader of the ancestral dragon clan was more reasonable. If there was another Long Yin, she might not be able to control her emotions. How long will the dragon urine take? Yin Luofeng thought about it and continued to ask. She remembered what Feng Jin had said to her before he left. Therefore, she had to make a trip to Endless City as soon as possible. About 3 days will be enough. Then I'll go with you to the Dragon Clan. Get those dragons to give me their urine. If she waited here for the clan leader, a round trip would waste a lot of time. She might as well go with him to the Dragon Clan. That's right. Yin Luofeng seemed to have thought of something and continued. When the time comes, I will have to leave for a period of time. Can you make a trip to the 7 Continents continent, the place you call the Abandoned Land, and protect some people for me? The only thing she was worried about when she left was Zhu Qian's enemies. Once they knew her abilities, there was no guarantee that they wouldn't make a move on the old master and the rest. The clan leader was stunned, and hesitation flashed in his eyes. Why? Can't I? Yin Luofeng frowned and asked. The The clan leader smiled bitterly and shook his head. It's not that I don't want to, but as the ruler of this continent, I can't leave it. What do you mean? Yin Luofeng's frown deepened. The spiritual energy in your forsaken land is very thin. That's because the spirit god continent has attracted all the spiritual energy from the forsaken land. As for me, Tion, and the others, we are the core of this continent. If we leave the spirit god continent, not only will it collapse, even we won't be able to survive. If you really need help, I can send other experts of the Dragon Clan to help you. The spirit god continent was a huge formation. It was similar to the illusion formation that Yin Luofeng had brought with him. The only difference was that, as the core of the mainland, the Patriarch and the others could not leave this mainland. Thinking of this, Yin Luofeng's eyebrows relaxed. No wonder from the beginning, Tion did not personally capture him, but used Shin Tion's labor. There was actually this layer of relationship. Since those people couldn't leave the spirit god continent, then Tion couldn't personally cause trouble for the old man. As long as the rulers didn't make a move, she didn't have to worry about the others. Miss Yin, actually, the reason why we're able to become rulers is inextricably linked to this formation. The clan leader smiled helplessly. As the center of the illusory formation, the first place the spiritual energy reaches is our bodies. We've also borrowed this spiritual energy to raise our power to such a level. Chapter 21:10. Understand, Yin Luofeng nodded. Then I won't trouble you. Miss Yin, you've seen Long Yan's power. I can ask him to help you. The clan leader thought that Yin Luofeng was angry and suggested, I can guarantee that on this mainland, aside from the rulers, no one else is a match for Long Yan. Hearing this, Yin Luofeng raised the corners of her lips. No need, I'm confident that I can handle them. She didn't want to owe the Dragon Clan a favor. If there was no other way, she would ask the Dragon Clan for help. Since she was confident, she would not ask for it again. If that's the case, I won't force you. If you need anything, you can ask the Ancestral Dragon Clan anytime. As long as your request isn't too much, the Dragon Clan will definitely grant your request. Yin Luofeng did not say anything else. Her gaze had already turned towards Yin Xiao. Her eyes, which had been filled with anger, involuntarily softened when she met the man's aggrieved gaze. She said exasperatedly, Yin Xiao, in the future, no matter what happens, you can't risk your life. I didn't think too much at the time. I just wanted you to live. Yin Luofeng's eyes narrowed slightly. A dangerous light flashed across her gaze. If you dare to die, I'll drag you out from the underworld. Feng'er. Yin Xiao held Yin Luofeng's hand and said affectionately, I was wrong. Can you forgive me? Yin Luofeng glared at her fiercely. I'll settle the score with you in bed. Ow! I'll make sure you can't get out of bed. Yin Luofeng squeezed Yin Xiao's hand, his tone still fierce. Yin Xiao, who had been aggrieved, laughed at Yin Luofeng's words. I couldn't ask for more. Yin Luofeng's entire face darkened. She had forgotten that although this man was usually very obedient, he was actually a beast in bed. Even if she worked herself to death, there would never come a day when this beast couldn't get out of bed. Master, little worm, pursed its lips. You want to flirt, but have you considered the feelings of a single dragon like me? It seemed like it was time for him to find a female dragon, lest he be angered to death by these two people's public display of affection. Yin Luofeng swept a glance at Little Worm and did not answer his question. Her gaze once again turned to the dragon chief and slowly said, When do we leave? Let's do it now. The Patriarch answered Yin Luofeng without any hesitation. As for Qin Tianlao and the others, they were handed over to Long Yan to deal with. There were not many dragons in the Ancestral Dragon Clan. In fact, there were very few of them. Therefore, even though it was only half a bottle of urine, it still took them 3 whole days. 3 days later, Yin Luofeng, who had prepared the medicinal liquid, entered the medicine field and poured it on the dragon saliva tree. Not long after, the dragon saliva tree once again sprouted and bore fruit, completing the entire process in a short period of time. With some of these fruits, the members of the Steel Flame Corps could successfully break through. But this time, Yin Luofeng had left the steel flame core to break through in the illusory array. Therefore, it didn't affect them too much after distributing all the dragon saliva fruits. Yin Luofeng and Yin Xiao left Spirit God Continent and set off for Endless City. This was Yin Luofeng's third time entering Endless City. The first time, Endless City was her territory. She had established the medicine tower here and met her good friend from 2 lifetimes, Nangong Yuni. Chapter 2111. The second time was on her way back. She happened to pass by this place and came to avenge Ruo Shui and Yi Jun when they were bullied. Therefore, this was the third time she had entered the Endless City. If I didn't remember wrongly, I discovered a cave in Endless City all those years ago, and there was a formidable spirit beast living in that cave, causing me to be unable to go in and investigate it to the end. I came back in a hurry last time and didn't have time to enter this cave. Yin Luofeng stopped and turned to look at Yin Xiao before continuing. This is the only place in the entire Endless City that is suspicious. Yin Xiao hugged Yin Luofeng and said gently, "Let's go down and have a look." All right. The two of them entered the big cave without hesitation. It was pitch black underground. Yin Luofeng saw the thick black mist in front of her. She held her breath and said, "Yin Xiao, this black mist is poisonous. Remember not to breathe it." In fact, Yin Xiao could see that the black mist was unusual even without Yin Luofeng's reminder. However, he did not say it to Yin Luofeng and only nodded slowly. "I'll remember." The two of them stopped talking after that and headed toward the black mist. It did not take long for them to pass through the black mist, and the skeletons in front of them appeared in their sight. There were treasures hidden in those skeletons, but those treasures had long been taken by Yin Luofeng. Therefore, Yin Luofeng did not hesitate and headed forward. 9-winged sky dragon. Soon, the 9-winged sky dragon that little Mo called extremely dangerous also fell into Yin Luofeng's pitch-black eyes. The 9-winged sky dragon was still in a deep sleep and did not know the people who came. Its huge body blocked the door behind it as its entire body curled up. The 9-winged sky dragon, an ancient fierce beast, powerful and mighty. It once occupied a part of the sea and was the king. Later on, during the battle with humans, it destroyed thousands of human troops in a single breath. Its flames burned the continent for months without stopping. With a flap of its wings, mountains and rivers collapsed and the world ended. With a sweep of its tail, everything became barren. The description of a 9-winged sky dragon in the history books appeared in Yin Luofeng's mind as his eyes gradually became vigilant. Even though he had reached the ultimate god realm, he still did not dare to be careless when facing the 9-winged sky dragon. As the two of them walked forward, the 9-winged sky dragon's heavy breathing became louder and louder. This intense breathing was like thunder, causing one's heart to tremble slightly. Yin Luofeng took a deep breath. His footsteps were light, afraid that the 9-winged sky dragon would wake up if he was not careful. Fortunately, when they walked to the side of the 9-winged sky dragon, the dragon was still asleep, as if it could not get enough sleep. Even so, Yin Luofeng's heart was not at ease. She carefully tried to bypass the 9-winged sky dragon's back, her hand involuntarily pushing against the giant door behind it. But before her hand could reach the giant door, she suddenly met a pair of ruthless and cruel eyes. These eyes were emotionless. Their blood-red color revealed a cruel nature, causing Yin Luofeng's hand to suddenly freeze. Feng. Yin Xiao reacted quickly. When the 9-winged sky dragon's huge body got up, she pulled Yin Luofeng into her arms and used her sleeves to block the wind caused by the giant wings. Chapter 2112. Roar. A dragon's roar was heard from within the cave. At that moment, the sky and earth changed colors, and the sun and moon lost their light. It was like the end of the world. The people of Endless City did not know what was happening as they all ran out of their houses and looked at the void shrouded by dark clouds and horror. Their eyes were filled with deep astonishment. In the cave, the 9-winged sky dragon flapped its wings, and a strong wind swept past. The entire cave collapsed in an instant as the ruins almost buried Yin Luofeng and the others. Only the giant gate was still standing there, unmoving like a mountain. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon roared again as the originally unstable sky once again surged with wind and clouds. It really felt like the end of the world. At that moment, Yin Luofeng finally understood what was the collapse of mountains and rivers. What was the end of the world? The nine-winged sky dragon indeed had such strength. If Yin Luofeng and the others had not broken through to the ultimate god realm, perhaps their souls would have been destroyed by the nine-winged sky dragon's shocking power. However, the awakened nine-winged sky dragon ignored Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao as it flew toward the void, intending to leave that place. Yin Xiao, quick, we have to stop it. We can't let it leave. Yun Luofeng's expression changed drastically as she hurriedly said. It was not that she was concerned about the safety of the people, but her family and friends were still on that continent. If the nine-winged sky dragon were to leave that place, it would definitely cause destruction to the continent. Yin Xiao had obviously thought of that as well. Hence, when Yun Luofeng's voice trailed off, he had already quickly chased after the nine-winged sky dragon. Of course, Yin Luofeng did not stay idle. She took out a few stones and set up a formation on the ground. Although she was already proficient in formations, she was currently facing a powerful and terrifying nine-winged sky dragon. Each of its wings contained a different kind of power. If the power of all its wings were gathered, not to mention her and Yun Xiao, even the rulers of the spirit god continent might not be able to subdue it. It was only at that moment that Yin Luofeng realized there was a certain error in the records of the nine-winged sky dragon in the history books. The nine-winged sky dragon was definitely not a deity. It was an existence far beyond a divine emperor. Perhaps it had already reached the level of a true god. The first time she saw the nine-winged sky dragon, Yin Luofeng only knew that it was powerful. Now that she was facing it for the second time, the strength of the nine-winged sky dragon still made her heart palpitate. This feeling of palpitation did not even occur when she faced Yution. From this, she concluded that the power of the nine-winged sky dragon was far more terrifying than she had imagined. Their only advantage was that the nine-winged sky dragon had just awakened and did not have enough control over its power. Otherwise, even if she and Yun Xiao joined forces, it would still be difficult for them to withstand a single blow from it. However, what puzzled her was how did Zhu Qian subdue the nine-winged sky dragon with his strength? Back then, Zhu Qian had only reached the ultimate god level not long ago, let alone a divine emperor. With his strength, what method did he use to make the nine-winged sky dragon guard the door for him? Yun Xiao blocked the nine-winged sky dragon's flight and began a head-on confrontation with it. The nine-winged sky dragon was so powerful that even Yun Xiao was a little tired of dealing with it from start to finish. Yin Luofeng did not even look at the battle in the sky. She only focused on deploying the array. Due to the consumption of her spiritual energy, her forehead was covered in cold sweat. Chapter 21:13. She was sweating more and more, and not long after, she was caught in the crossfire. Yin Luofeng hurriedly took out a spirit fruit that could restore spirit energy, bit it, and swallowed it. Once his spirit energy was restored, he continued to set up the array. This time, it took an entire 2 hours to set up the formation. She wiped the sweat from her forehead and sat on the ground weakly. She took a few deep breaths before looking at Yin Xiao, who was gradually falling below. Yin Xiao, think of a way to lure the nine-winged sky dragon into this array. I'll see if this array can trap it. Yin Xiao did not reply. A glint flashed in his cold eyes, and then he raised his hand and picked up a long staff, circled behind the nine-winged sky dragon, and stabbed the staff in his hand into the nine-winged sky dragon's anus. The intense pain made the nine-winged sky dragon wail and chase after Yun Xiao angrily. Although the nine-winged sky dragon had just awakened and was lacking in both strength and intelligence, it also knew what shame was. As a sky dragon, its anus had been broken by a human. This was simply unbearable. If it did not kill this damned human, it would not be worthy of being a sky dragon. So, the simple-minded nine-winged sky dragon chased after Yun Xiao and also stepped into the array. The moment it entered the array, a ray of light rose, and turned into an invisible wall, firmly trapping the nine-winged sky dragon in the array. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon roared, and its body slammed heavily into the array. Its body was knocked back a few steps, and its ferocious eyes were filled with annoyance other than anger. Yin Xiao, I can only trap the nine-winged sky dragon for now. When its strength is fully restored, I won't be able to trap it anymore. The nine-winged sky dragon was too strong. They could not do anything to it just by suppressing its strength. Even this array could only trap it for a while at most. However, since Zhu Qian was able to take it down, I can also find a way. It just takes time, Yin Luofeng said after pondering for a while. Yun Zhao's gaze gradually turned to the giant door that was previously blocked by the nine-winged sky dragon's body and said, "Let's go in and take a look first. Perhaps we can find a way to deal with the nine-winged sky dragon in this door." Hearing this, Yin Luofeng no longer hesitated and nodded, "Okay." After saying that, the two of them walked towards the giant door. Yin Luofeng placed his hand on the giant door and pushed it open with a gentle push. The nine-winged sky dragon, whose eyes were filled with anger, had an even more complicated expression when it saw the two of them walking toward the giant door. There was a faint look of anxiety in its eyes. Of course, Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao ignored her and entered the giant door. Beyond the door was another world, with an altar in the middle of it. Next to the altar were a few dragon eggs. The pattern on the dragon egg was very similar to the nine-winged sky dragon outside. Nine-winged sky dragon's egg? Yin Luofeng was taken aback. One nine-winged sky dragon was already terrifying enough. If these nine-winged sky dragons were also born, then the world would be the nine-winged sky dragon's world. It would cause misery for the people, and it would be like the end of the world. If I'm not wrong, the reason why the nine-winged sky dragon is guarding the door is not only because of Zhu Qian, but also because of the dragon egg inside the door. Yin Xiao looked at Yin Luofeng and said. Yin Luofeng fell silent. The nine-winged sky dragon outside the door and the nine-winged sky dragon's egg inside the door. Then why did Zhu Qian ask her to come here? Chapter 21:14. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon outside the door seemed to have sensed the threat from Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao. It let out a warning roar, as if to stop them from approaching the dragon egg. As the two got closer, the nine-winged sky dragon became more and more irritable. Its body slammed hard against the illusion array, and from time to time, there was a loud crash outside the door, causing the door to tremble. Yin Xiao, my array can't hold him for too long. It's just that the nine-winged sky dragon's body is cruel. We can't let him leave this place. Yun Luofeng's expression darkened bit by bit, and his eyes were very solemn. After hearing this, Yun Xiao did not hesitate. She quickly walked to the nine-winged sky dragon's egg and frowned slightly. There's something wrong with this nine-winged sky dragon's egg. What's the problem? I'm not sure. I can't feel the existence of any life inside this dragon egg. Can't feel any life? Yin Luofeng pondered for a while. The nine-winged sky dragon in this dragon egg is already dead? Or perhaps this dragon egg was never a nine-winged sky dragon to begin with. No matter what, Yin Luofeng could still see the importance of the dragon egg to the nine-winged sky dragon. Yin Xiao, wait for me for a moment. I'm going to check the items in this room. After saying this, Yin Luofeng closed her eyes slightly and used all her mental strength to sweep the room. After a while, she suddenly opened her eyes and quickly walked to the corner in front of her. In this corner, there was actually a secret door. Yin Luofeng's hand gently fell on the secret door and slowly pushed it open. Yin Xiao quietly followed behind Yin Luofeng and walked into the secret door. He remained vigilant, afraid that Yin Luofeng would encounter danger. Yin Luofeng gently narrowed her eyes, and her gaze suddenly stopped on the transparent barrier in front of her. In the center of that barrier stood a naked little lowly. This little lowly had a head of golden hair, and her skin was snow white to the point of almost being transparent. Her eyes were very ignorant, like a little girl who had just gained consciousness. She was looking at Yin Luofeng with curious eyes. Earlier on, Yin Xiao had already turned her head around, her back facing the little lowly behind her. Even though the little Lolita seemed to be defenseless, he still said worriedly, "Her identity is not simple for her to appear here. Be careful. I have a guess that someone deliberately used the dragon egg to trap the nine-winged sky dragon so that the nine-winged sky dragon could protect this little girl." Yin Luofeng and Yun Xiao had the same guess. At first, she thought that the nine-winged sky dragon's egg was what Zhu Qian had left for her. Only now did she understand. The little girl in front of him was the most precious treasure in this sect. "You don't have to be afraid." Yun Luofeng slowly walked towards the little lowly, his tone gentle. "I'm here to save you." The little girl tilted her head and looked at Yun Luofeng in a daze. She was like a spirit of heaven and earth. She had just gained intelligence and did not understand the dangers of the world. Yun Luofeng walked in front of the little girl and stopped. Her hand gently fell on the transparent barrier in front of her. Her palm completely passed through it. Only then did Yin Luofeng understand that this barrier only had a restraining effect on the little girl in front of him. "I'll pull you out now." Yin Luofeng's voice was very gentle. She did not know why, but she felt close to this little girl from the bottom of her heart. Chapter 21:15. The little girl looked at Yin Luofeng's outstretched hand and gently blinked her eyes before placing her hand on Yin Luofeng's. Soon after, Yin Luofeng pulled, and the little girl was pulled out from the spirit formation. Yin Luofeng took out a piece of clothing from his spatial ring and draped it over the little girl's body. The large robe covered the little girl's body, making her look weak and frail under the robe. "Do you know how to speak?" Yin Luofeng lowered his head to look at the little girl in front of him and asked. The little girl blinked, her long eyelashes fluttering. She was very cute. Her eyes were clean and clear, with a naive and innocent look. "You don't know how to speak?" Yin Luofeng hesitated for a moment. "If that's the case, are you willing to come with me? If you're not willing, I won't force you." The little girl seemed to understand the sentence. She tightly held onto Yin Luofeng's arm. Her eyes filled with a layer of mist, and her eyelashes that were like fans hung with tears. Yin Luofeng had met many little girls in his life, but none of them were as cute and innocent as the little girl in front of him. Her naivety was like that of a newborn child who did not understand the world. "You choose to come with me?" Yin Luofeng continued to look at the little girl and asked. The little girl blinked, her large, watery eyes staring unblinkingly at Yin Luofeng. Yin Luofeng also saw a trace of dependence in her eyes. This girl had probably never seen a stranger in all these years, and had treated her, who had appeared for the first time, as family. As such, no matter what, he could not leave this girl behind. "If you want to come with me, you can't not have your own name." Yin Luofeng thought for a moment. "How about this? You were born between heaven and earth, and walk outside of the rules. I'll call you Chu Tian. How about that?" Chu Tian. Yin Chu Tian. That was her name? "If you agree, just blink your eyes." Yin Luofeng continued. The little girl blinked, which was equivalent to agreeing to Yin Luofeng's words. An innocent smile hung on her face. Her fair little face was as clean as the first snow in winter, and her eyes seemed to have been cleansed by spring water. "Yin Xiao, let's go." Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Xiao, who had already turned around, and smiled. "From now on, she is Yin Chu Tian, and also our daughter." "Daughter?" These two words made Yin Zhao's gaze soften. However, he still said, "This girl isn't human." "I know. Compared to these things, I trust my feelings more." Yin Luofeng raised his eyes, his expression very serious. "All right, then she's our daughter." If Yin Luofeng wanted to do something, he would never stop him. Whatever Yin Luofeng accepted, he was also willing to accept. In this life, he was willing to respect her and do anything for her. Outside the door, the nine-winged sky dragon had already smashed open a crack in the array. The moment Yin Luofeng stepped out of the secret door, the nine-winged sky dragon completely smashed through the array. With a furious roar, it tried to rush out the door. Bang! However, just as the nine-winged sky dragon rushed to the door, it was as if a barrier had knocked it out. Its expression became more and more anxious, and it kept warning Yin Luofeng with a low growl. It seems that the nine-winged sky dragon can't come through this door. However, we can't stay here forever. We have to find a way to leave. Chapter 21:16. The nine-winged sky dragon's temper became more and more irritable. Its red eyes carried a cruel glint as it stared at Yin Luofeng, wanting to tear this woman into pieces. Yin Xiao, take out the nine-winged sky dragon's egg. With this egg, it won't act rashly, Yin Luofeng said with a deep frown. There seems to be some kind of power in the nine-winged sky dragon's egg that will prevent me from entering the secret door, so I temporarily left it by the altar. However, when the two of them wanted to take the nine-winged sky dragon's egg, Yin Luofeng was shocked by the next scene. Yun Shutan, who was just beside him, had walked to the altar. Even the nine-winged sky dragon's egg had been broken by her, and the corner of her mouth was full of egg yolk. Seeing Yin Luofeng walking toward her, she immediately looked at her with a pair of innocent eyes. The creature inside the nine-winged sky dragon's egg had died before this. This egg was just a dead egg, and it could not hatch into a nine-winged sky dragon. However, even so, this was the nine-winged sky dragon's wish. Otherwise, it would not have guarded here for so many years. Burp. Yin Chutian burped. She still did not know what she had done wrong, and her clean and clear eyes were filled with a pitiful look. Roar. The nine-winged sky dragon finally realized that the egg had been eaten. It hit the barrier outside the door even harder, its eyes bloodthirsty and its roar filled with anger. Yin Luofeng shrugged helplessly. Yin Xiao, it seems that we can't get out this time. I can fight him, Yin Xiao said after a moment of silence. No, it's too dangerous. The nine-winged sky dragon is not like when it just woke up. I don't want you to make any risky preparations. We must have other ways to stop him. Yin Luofeng stroked her chin and fell into deep thought. However, the nine-winged sky dragon was clearly angered by them. In other words, the mainland was at least safe. As long as she was sure that her family was safe, she would have time to think about how to deal with the nine-winged sky dragon. I got it. Yin Luofeng's eyes flashed. Among Jueqian's formations, there's a formation that might be able to deal with a nine-winged sky dragon. Yin Xiao turned to look at Yin Luofeng, silently waiting for her to speak. That formation is called the Heaven and Earth Entrapment Formation. This formation is very difficult to set up in a short period of time. Furthermore, I have never tried it before, so I might fail. I believe you. Yin Zhao's expression was very serious. He trusted her. As long as it was something she wanted to do, it was impossible for her to fail. All right, Yin Xiao, I'm not strong enough to set up this spell formation. I need your help. Yin Luofeng pondered for a moment, then continued. Yin Yi, come out and help me. In an instant, the spirit beasts all ran out of Yin Luofeng's divine grimoire space, and Yin Yi also appeared in front of her. Seeing that everyone had arrived, Yin Luofeng took a deep breath and began to set up the formation, the 7 continents. The sky was dyed red by the color of blood, and under this blood-colored sky, an austere killing was happening. If we kill this group of people, we can gain the favor of Lord Yution. Lord Yution is the ruler of our spirit god continent. With his favor, we can use the resources of the spirit god continent at will. Someone in the crowd said something that made the murderous intent of those people even stronger. Under their killing intent, the group of people had no room to resist at all. Chapter 21:17. At the same time, the Jun family in Ling continent was overcrowded. Jun Lingtian looked at Hong Ling, who had been picked up by the Jun family, and laughed. Lord Hong Ling, you can treat the Jun family as your home from now on. You don't have to be polite to us. With the Jun family's protection, you will definitely be safe and sound. Hong Ling sighed inwardly. He had never thought that his daughter's actions would protect the East Continent Prefecture from this calamity. That's right, a calamity. Not long ago, a group of people had come to kill them. Those people were very aggressive. They claimed that the 7 continents were abandoned lands and that they were wasting the resources of the spirit god continent. That was why they wanted to exterminate all humans in the 7 continents. Ling, go and see if the people from West Spirit Academy are here. The elders of West Spirit Academy are Feng, Er's masters, so you must make arrangements for them. As for the students, let them squeeze with the servants of the East Continent for a while. Oh, that's right. The people who went to the Yi residence in the Wuhui continent should be back by now. Also, bring Feng Er's subordinates from the medicine tower here. Who knows if this group of crazy people will also destroy the Wuhui continent. Jun Lingtian's expression became more and more serious. Although Yin Xingya had reached the Divine Lord level, he didn't know how many Divine Lords they were facing, so he had to be careful. Master! Suddenly, a servant hurried in. The Master of the South Continent has sent someone to ask for an audience. The South Continent? Jun Lingtian sneered. Someone actually dares to come to the South Continent. Could it be that they had forgotten how they had treated the Yun family back then? Now they come to us for help. It's too late. Drive them out. Yes, Master. Everyone in the 7 continents knew what the South Continent had done. Therefore, the servant of the Jun family had long been unhappy with the South Continent, but he still needed to report such an important matter to the Master. However, it was impossible for the Jun family to not know what decision the Master would make. Therefore, after receiving the order, the servant quickly walked out. Not long after, he saw the Master of the South Continent waiting at the door. That's right. The Master of the South Continent had come to the Jun family this time. He had no intention of leaving since he had come. Moreover, the Jun family couldn't just sit back and watch as the 7 continents face such a crisis. At this moment, the South Continent's continent lord seemed to have forgotten how they had treated him when a Yun family was in danger. Our master has said that we won't take in people from the South Continent. The manservant held his head high and said disdainfully. The Lord of the South Continent's expression changed, but he still needed the Jun family's protection, so his tone softened. Let me see Grandpa Jun. I will have a way to make him keep me. A trace of anger flashed in the servant's eyes as he snorted. You didn't save me in the past. Why should my old master take you in? Hurry up and leave, or I'll get someone to chase you away. You. The South Continent's continent lord was so angry that his face turned red. A mere servant dared to speak to him like this. After all, he was the continent master of South Continent. The South Continent's continent lord took a deep breath and clenched his fists, suppressing the anger in his heart. I don't want you to talk. I just want to see Grandpa Jun. Let me see him. I won't leave until I see him. Unexpectedly, just as the South Continent's continent lord finished speaking, a mocking voice came from behind. Chapter 21:18. You want the Jun family to take you in? The reason? Just because you left the Yun family in the lurch? A person in a gray robe, followed by a group of people, came forward. The woman did not even look at the Lord of the South Continent. She cupped her fists towards the servant. Please go and report to the Lord of the Jun family that the Elder in Gray of the Sacred Maiden Tribe has come to visit. Elder Gray Robe is here? My grandfather has been waiting for you for a long time. The Holy Maiden Tribe had helped the Yun family when they were in danger and took in a seriously injured Grandpa Jun. Grandpa Jun would remember this kindness in his heart. So when the continent was in danger, he did not forget about the Holy Maiden Tribe. It was an unintentional mistake. The South Continent's Lord knew the identity of the person in front of him. He did not dare to vent his anger. Besides, your Holy Maiden Tribe had offended Yun Luophone before. Why are you here? Why can't I? Elder Gray Robe glanced at the South Continent's Lord and sneered. I did make a mistake, but I also helped in times of need. Grandpa Jun was grateful to the Holy Maiden Tribe, so he invited us. I'm not like you who came uninvited and refused to leave. I have never seen someone as shameless as you in my life. You really want to leave us in the lurch? The South Continent's Lord's face turned ugly. We are all from the 7 continents. The Spirit God Continent has gone too far, and you want me to die? Elder Gray Robe was stunned by the South Continent's Lord's shamelessness. It took him a while to recover. The one who wanted to attack the Yun family was also from the Spirit God Continent. So why are you leaving them in the lurch? This is not the same. The Yun family is not from the 7 continents. Why should I save them? Besides, the Qin family from the Spirit God Continent only wanted to attack the Yun family. This is their personal grudge. Why should we save them? The South Continent's Lord's eyes darkened. Now, the Spirit God Continent wants to destroy our entire Wind Cloud Continent. How can this be compared to what happened before? What else can I say if you think so? Elder Grey Robe thought that he could not argue with the South Continent's lord. He was too lazy to argue with him. However, the June family is the Yun family's relative. Why should they protect you? Besides, the gray-clothed elder looked down and sneered. Let me tell you something. Why did the spirit god continent fail to kill the June family's people? That's because the second young master of the Yun family, Yun Xingya, came out to fight the enemy. That's why the enemy was driven away. Now that the spirit god continent had come to the 7 continents, they would definitely not let Yun Luofeng's family off. At that time, the spirit god continent had sent a divine lord over, but he had been beaten away by Yun Xingya. The continent lord in the southern continent definitely did not know about this matter. All he knew was that the June family was the only family that could remain unscathed under the siege of the spirit god continent. The lord of the south continent was dumbfounded for a long time before he regained his composure. He continued to quibble. If the June family doesn't take me in, then they will be the sinners of the continent. They will watch their compatriots die without doing anything. And since Yun Xingya and the June family are relatives, it's only right for her to protect me. It was only right for others to save him. If they didn't, they would be scolded by the world and go down in infamy. Even if the other party had asked for help from the South Continent, not only did he ignore them, he even chased them out of the door. The gray-clothed elder shook her head. She really did not know where this idiot got such strong confidence from. Did he think that others must protect him? Chapter 21:19. Lord of the South Continent. No matter what you think, the June family will never help you. With that, Elder Huei couldn't be bothered to say anything more to this idiot. He flung his sleeves and walked into the June family. The Lord of the South Continent's expression changed. Just as he was about to follow Elder Huei in, Elder Huei waved his hand as if he had eyes. A powerful force surged towards them. With a boom, the Lord of the South Continent took a few steps back, his expression a little awkward. June Lintian, come out. You can't just leave me in the lurch. Seeing that these people wouldn't let him enter the June family's residence, the Lord of the South Continent yelled at the top of his lungs. We're from the same continent. Can you really not save me? Lord, please save me. I really don't want to die. Towards the end, his voice softened, filled with pleading and even trembling. The June family was the only life-saving straw on the continent. He wanted to hold on to it, but no one would give him the chance. At that moment, Grandpa June's cold voice came from above the June family's residence. You didn't help me back then, and now you have the face to beg me? I'll give you one chance. Leave immediately. Otherwise, I'll kill you before the people from Spirit God Continent arrive. The old man's voice was majestic and domineering. Even though he hadn't seen the person, the voice alone was enough to make his heart tremble. It was as if a huge mountain was pressing down on him, making it hard for him to breathe. This time, the Lord of the South Continent didn't dare to stay any longer. He left in the direction he came from. He understood that what happened that day was a mistake he would never be able to make up for in his life. Grandpa, he's gone. June Linger walked up to June Lintian and pursed her thin lips. Do you think we can really fight against those powerhouses from Spirit God Continent? We have to believe in your second uncle's strength. He's the only divine lord here, so he'll definitely protect us. However, we need to be prepared. This battle might be a long one. June Lintian sighed softly. No matter how strong Yun Qingyao was, she was alone. There were many powerhouses on Spirit God Continent. To be honest, he didn't have much of a chance of winning. If only Sister Yun was here. Sister Yun is so powerful, she can definitely deal with those enemies. Old man, it's bad, it's bad. Suddenly, a panicked voice came from outside. The people from the Spirit God Continent are here again. They're clearly stronger than the ones from last time. What? June Lintian's heart almost stopped beating. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but found that he couldn't find the words. At this moment, Yun Xingya slowly walked in from outside the door. He stood with his hands behind his back, his face elegant. Old Master June, in this June city, other than the June family, there are still many commoners. I don't want to have so many casualties, so I plan to go outside the city gates to meet the enemy. As for the mission of protecting the safety of these commoners, I'll leave it to you. Yun Qingya was born in a family of generals. Unlike Yun Luofeng, he would place the lives of the people in his heart. Of course, he was not a saint. He would never protect someone like the continent lord of the South Continent. Are you going to face the enemy alone? Zhun Lintian looked at Yun Qingya in surprise, his heart filled with worry. Chapter 21:20. I checked the situation just now. Those people have split into several groups. From the looks of it, there will be a few divine lords mixed in with them. Other than these people, there will be experts attacking from the west, south, and north of the city. You have to send people to defend them. Leave some people in the city to protect the residents. Yun Qingya's voice was very cold as she said slowly. Old Master Jun gritted his teeth. All right, then we'll do as you say. I'll take care of the other 3 cities. You must stop those divine lords. Otherwise, our spirit continent will also face a calamity. Yun Qingya looked at the people behind her, turned around, and walked towards the door. Big Brother Yun. Ning Xian quickly took 2 steps forward with a determined expression. I'll go with you. Yun Qingya pondered for a moment. Ever since he had consumed the dragon saliva fruit, Ning Xian's strength had increased by quite a bit. Therefore, he nodded slightly in agreement. All right, let's go together. Ning Xian smiled. This smile was very beautiful, so beautiful that it was like a lotus blooming in this place. As long as she could be with the man she loved, so what if she died? She would never be afraid. Father, mother. Yin Ruoshui's eyes reddened. She wanted to hold Ning Xian's hand and looked at her with grievance. Shui'er also wants to be with you. Ning Xian's expression softened. She caressed Yin Ruoshui's head and said warmly, Shui'er, stay in the city obediently. Father and mother will be back soon. Yin Ruoshui's heart tightened. How could she not know the danger they were facing this time? Thus, her large eyes were filled with worry. Will you really come back? Definitely. Ning Xian raised her hand and rubbed Yun Ruoshui's head. She slowly stood up and looked at Yun Qingya, who was standing in front of her. Let's go. All right. Yun Qingya smiled. Before he left, his loving gaze fell on little Ruoshui's young and tender face. Shui'er, Father promises you that we will definitely return safely. The premise is that you have to listen to your grandfather obediently. Understand? Yin Ruoshui nodded firmly. Shui'er will be very obedient. You're not allowed to lie to Shui'er. Otherwise, Shui'er will never forgive you. It was as if the determination on Yun Ruoshui's face had caused Ning Xian's heart to ache. In the end, she had forced herself to harden her heart and walk out. After the 2 of them left, Yun Ruoshui's tears finally flowed uncontrollably, and her face was full of tear stains. Father, mother, Shui'er will wait for your return. Outside the city gate, there was an austere atmosphere. Yun Qingya looked at the experts descending from the sky. Then her gaze fell on the man she had fought with before. He's just a defeated opponent, yet he dares to start over. Last time, I underestimated you. This time you will die. The long-robed man's face was cold, and his voice carried a strong, killing intent. So what if you found some helpers? Yun Qingya took 2 steps forward and separated her feet. Like a huge mountain, she blocked the city gate. I, Yun Qingya, have the bloodline of the Yun family, a family of generals. Today, as long as I still have my lofty and unyielding character, I won't allow you to harm other innocent people. He was born in a general's family, so he naturally had a proud and unyielding character. He would rather die than retreat. It was fine even if he had to give up his life to protect the city gate behind him. Ha ha! The long-robed man laughed mockingly. Then I want to see what kind of ability you will use to stop me. And what will you use to defend the people behind you? Chapter 21:21. Boom! At that moment, the few divine monarchs in the sect also stood up. A powerful aura spread out and swept towards Yun Qingya like an earth-shattering wave. Yun Qingya remained as motionless as a mountain. His expression did not change. His expression was very cold, and his face seemed to be shrouded in a layer of cold light. Second brother. At this moment, a voice suddenly rang out from the sky. When Yun Qingya turned her head, she saw Bai Ling's figure appear in front of him. "Sister-in-law, you're back." Yun Qingya was overjoyed as she said. Bai Ling's figure descended from the sky and stood beside Yun Qingya. She turned her head to look at the group of people behind her, and the corners of her lips curled up slightly. "I heard about the difficulties of the 7 continents, so I brought the people of the Wind and Cloud continent to help. These people should be from the Spirit God continent. When did the Spirit God continent have so many divine monarchs?" In reality, the divine monarchs of the Spirit God continent were not as many as they knew. Even Qin Yuan, the son of the Qin family of the Spirit God continent, only knew of the existence of a few divine monarchs. On the contrary, there were many divine monarchs who hid in the world and did not appear in front of others. As time passed, those people would not know of their existence. "Sister-in-law, let's not worry about that for now. Let's stop these people first and not let them enter the city gate." Inside the city gate, there were not only innocent residents, but also the people they wanted to protect. "All right, second brother, sister-in-law, then let's work together to repel the enemy." Bai Ling smiled slightly, looking at the group of people with eyes filled with killing intent. At the same time, the enemies at the other 3 city gates also attacked. With Old Man June leading the way, it was relatively easy to defend the west gate. Even if it was not easy to defend the other 2 city gates, they still used their iron-blooded bodies to block the attacking crowd. Right now, no one in the Spirit continent knew that this defensive battle had lasted for a few months. Within a few months, both sides had suffered heavy losses, and they were unable to determine the victor. Even so, everyone was still persevering, causing the entire Spirit continent to be shrouded in a bloody mist. No return continent. Endless city. Within the spacious room, Yun Luofeng placed down the last stone. At that moment, a powerful spiritual energy flowed within the stone. The spiritual energy connected and formed a prison cell. "Yin Xiao, my formation is complete. Now, let's think of a way to let the 9-winged sky dragon in." Yun Luofeng wiped away the cold sweat on her forehead. After so many months, her array formation was finally completed. "Get out of my way first." After saying that, Yun Luofeng added another sentence. Yun Xiao obediently took a few steps back. His eyes had never left Yun Luofeng since the beginning. His gaze had always been on her, and he had always been vigilant towards the movements in his surroundings. In these few months, Yun Luofeng had not only set up the array, but also figured out why the 9-winged sky dragon could not enter the room. Therefore, under Yun Zhao's gaze, Yun Luofeng slowly walked toward a rock on the altar. This stone was very big, and it was navy blue in color. It looked eerie and terrifying. Yin Xiao smashed this stone. After smashing it, immediately hide behind the array. After Yun Luofeng scanned the stone, he had already taken the lead and walked behind the array. I'm still writing. Chapter 21-22. At the same time, Yun Zhao's body leaped forward, and his hard fist smashed into the stone with a loud bang. In an instant, the stone shattered under his power and drifted into the air. The moment the stone was destroyed, a powerful force was sent out. The force was very strong, and it quickly swept across the room. Foma, seeing that Yun Luofeng was also within the range of the impact, Yun Zhao's heart was in her throat. She used her fastest speed to rush toward her. But before Yun Xiao could reach Yun Luofeng, the little lowly Yun Chutian quickly blocked Yun Luofeng's way. Her big eyes were red with anger. "Don't bully mother and little brother." Her words were a little unclear. Like a child who had just started learning to speak, her voice was a little stuttering. However, she still revealed her thoughts. She wanted to protect Yun Luofeng and the little brother in her stomach. Boom! When the impact reached Yun Chutian's face, it suddenly dissipated. Yes, it dissipated. That force only lifted Yun Luofeng's sleeves. It didn't even injure him in the slightest. Fenger! Yun Xiao was so frightened that she pulled Yun Luofeng into her arms and hugged her tightly. "Sorry, I shouldn't have been so far away from you just now. Yun Xiao, it's not your fault. I was the one who asked you to destroy the stone. Moreover, in this place, only you can destroy it." Yun Luofeng's lips curled into a smile like a flower. Boom! The nine-winged sky dragon fiercely slammed into the barrier that was blocking him. This time, the barrier didn't bounce him back. Instead, it instantly shattered and immediately rushed into the room. Roar! It roared angrily and rushed toward Yin Shutan, who was beside Yin Luofeng. Yin Shutan buried her body in Yin Luofeng's arms and pulled her sleeve tightly. Her big eyes were very innocent and spirited. It was as if she wasn't afraid of anything as long as she was beside Yin Luofeng. When the nine-winged sky dragon rushed over, the array was also activated. A giant cage rose from the ground and trapped him inside. Roar! The nine-winged sky dragon became even more irritable as it slammed into the giant cage with all its might. However, its strength had dissipated by the time it reached the giant cage, and it could not exert any strength at all. Yin Luofeng no longer looked at the nine-winged sky dragon. She lowered her head and looked at Yin Shutian. Tian, tell me, who taught you to speak? In the past few months, she and Yin Xiao had been busy setting up the array formation, so no one had communicated with Yin Shutian. How could she suddenly speak? Yin Shutian blinked his big, ignorant eyes and pointed at Yin Luofeng's stomach. Little brother gave it to me. Yin Luofeng was stunned for a moment. He lowered his head to look at his stomach, then turned his gaze to Yin Shutian. Tian, tell me honestly, who taught you? Seeing that Yin Luofeng didn't believe him, Yin Shutian felt wronged. It was really little brother who taught me. He also told me that you're my mother. He also said that after he comes out, he'll forget the memories of his previous life and asked me to protect him. Memories from his past life? Yin Luofeng felt that something was wrong, and doubt flashed in his eyes. Then can you tell me how you communicate? Little brother and I can communicate telepathically. I can hear what he says. At first, Yin Shutian's speech was not fluent, but it became more fluent as time went on. His big eyes were filled with an innocent light as he looked at Yin Luofeng without blinking. Chapter 21-23. Yin Luofeng muttered to himself. It seemed that this little girl was not simple. Furthermore, she was inextricably linked to her child. However, what made Yin Luofeng even more confused was what Yin Shutian's previous life memory was all about. Suddenly, a name flashed through Yin Luofeng's mind. When she thought of that name, she immediately gritted her teeth in hatred. We've been tricked by Songji. Back then, she got pregnant in Songji's wooden hut using the method that Songji gave her. She did not think too much about it back then. Now that she thought about it, perhaps it was all part of that bastard's plan. Good. Very good. Since Songji dared to scheme against her, then he could not blame her for being ruthless. Tian, do you like little brother? Yin Luofeng looked at Yin Shutian with a smile and asked. Yin Shutian blinked. Tian likes little brother. Okay, then when the time comes, mother will ask you to do one thing. Yin Luofeng's eyes flashed. In our Yun family, we only ask for one person for a lifetime. When little brother is born, help mother look after him. Don't let him harm innocent girls. Songji was such a womanizer. To put an end to his womanizing would be even harder than taking his life. More importantly, as her and Yun Zhao's son, he could not be so womanizing. Yin Shutian nodded, not fully understanding. Tian, listen to mother. Look after little brother and don't let him harm anyone. Okay. Yin Luofeng curled the corners of her lips. However, at this moment, her stomach ached and she could not help but cover it tightly. Fenger, what's wrong? Seeing the cold sweat on Yin Luofeng's forehead, Yin Zhao's expression suddenly became nervous. His eyes were filled with worry. He was afraid that Yin Luofeng was accidentally hurt by the shockwave just now. It's nothing. I think I'm going to give birth, Yin Luofeng said through gritted teeth. Yin Xiao was stunned. Giving birth? Fenger, what should I do? All these years, no matter what Yin Xiao did, he had always maintained a calm and composed appearance. That grim expression of his had never once changed. But at this moment, this powerful man, who held the entire world in his hands, felt a sense of helplessness. Go prepare some hot water. I need to wash up later. Yin Luofeng felt her stomach twitch. Her face was pale from the pain. Seeing Yin Luofeng in this state, How could Yin Xiao leave? He held Yin Luofeng's hand, his gaze sweeping over to Yun Yi, who was standing to the side. Go prepare some hot water. Yin Yi left after receiving the order. Yin Xiao tightly held onto Yin Luofeng's hand. Feng I will be by your side, forever. It seemed that Yin Zhao's words had comforted Yun Luofeng, causing her expression to gradually calm down. Her lips curled into a smile as she said, Xiao, I'm fine. Give our son a name first. Name? I've already thought of it. He'll be called Yun Yinfeng. Yun Yinfeng. These 3 words filled Yun Luofeng's face with warmth. She felt the pain in her lower body, as if all the strength had been sucked out. Hence, at this moment, she could not answer Yin Zhao's question. Instead, she took out a piece of blood ginseng from her space and bit it. Only then did she feel her strength gradually recovering. This time, she gave birth for 3 days and 3 nights. She didn't know if it was because the child was special or if there were other reasons. But Yin Luofeng used many methods during the process, but she still couldn't give birth to the child. Because of this, Yin Zhao's eyes turned red with anxiety. His heart had long been dissatisfied with his unborn son, and after 3 days, the sound of crying resounded in this empty room. Chapter 21-24. Little Brother. Yun Shutian ran to Yun Luofeng with her short legs. She blinked her big eyes and looked at the baby in Yun Luofeng's arms. Her smile was as bright as a beautiful flower. Mother, Tian likes little brother. Yes. Yun Luofeng's eyes flickered. She noticed Yun Shutian's gaze and said, Then I'll betroth little brother to you and let him be your child bride. What do you think? What's a child bride? Yin Shutian looked at Yun Luofeng curiously and asked in confusion. A child bride is just like your father and I. We'll never be separated in this lifetime and are the most important person in each other's lives. Yun Luofeng's lips curled into a sinister smile. Song Ji schemed against her, so she also schemed against Song Ji's entire life. Okay. Yun Shutian clapped and smiled. Tian wants to be little brother's child bride and become the second most important person in little brother's life. The second? What about the first one? The first one is mother. Yin Shutian nestled in Yun Luofeng's arms and smiled innocently. When little brother was in mother's stomach, he told Tian that mother was the most important person to him and asked Tian to protect mother. He also said that if Tian did it, then he would make Tian one of his women. Mother, what does little brother mean by that? Yin Luofeng was touched when she heard the first part of the sentence. She was even more hesitant about whether she had gone too far. But Yin Shutian's next words, however, made her face darken. You must remember, in the future, you will not allow little brother to flirt with innocent girls. If he dares to harm those innocent girls, beat him up for me. Yin Shutian blinked her eyes as if she understood. She did not know what mother meant by that. However, she understood that what her mother said was correct. Yin Xiao, the 9-winged sky dragon, has been locked up. Let's leave now. Yin Luofeng persevered and stood up. In his arms was a tender baby, and his hand was holding Yun Shutian's. Originally, the newborn child was wrinkled, but the little guy in her arms was very pink and cute. Yin Luofeng couldn't help but stretch out her finger to touch his face, making her fingertips feel very elastic. The little fellow had not opened his eyes, but he could feel Yun Luofeng's fingers. A pair of short arms flailed wildly in the air, trying to grab onto those fingers that were touching him. You just gave birth, you need a rest. Yin Xiao frowned, her eyes filled with worry. I'm fine. Yin Luofeng shook his head, his voice calm. No. Yin Xiao raised her hand and took the little fellow from Yun Luofeng's arms and said very firmly, I heard that after a woman gives birth, she can't get out of bed for a month. So, let's return to the divine grimoire space first, and wait for a month before we leave. As for other matters, Yin Xiao could rely on Yin Luofeng for everything. But he also had moments of decisiveness. For the sake of Yin Luofeng's health, he would not allow her to run around in exhaustion at this time. Feng if you suffer even the slightest injury, I will never be able to forgive myself. Yin Luofeng glanced at Yin Xiao. I'm a doctor. That won't do. Yin Xiao was very determined. It was rare for Yun Luofeng to see such a determined Yin Xiao. She shrugged her shoulders rather helplessly. Okay, then I'll wait for a month before leaving. Is that okay? Chapter 21-25. 7 Continents. Outside the gates of June City, in the sky, Yun Xingya stood in front of the group of experts. A cold and austere aura made the man's face look a little more grim and less indifferent. Second brother. Bai Ling stood in front of Yun Xingya. This battle has already lasted for a few months. If this goes on, it won't be a solution. We must finish off the enemy as soon as possible. This battle had already lasted for several months. More and more experts from the spirit god continent had come to the 7 continents. Even she was starting to feel a little powerless. However, on the other side of the spirit god continent, not far away, many people had joined the battle. Yun Xingya looked at the city gate that he was protecting behind him, and her eyes turned slightly cold. No matter what, we must persevere. Yun Xingya's voice was very cold. When he looked at Ning Exan, his eyes softened. Exan, are you afraid? Ning Exan firmly shook her head. From the moment I followed you, I have already disregarded life and death. With you accompanying me in this life, it is enough. As long as she could be with him, she would have no regrets even if she died. All right. Yun Xingya retracted her gaze and once again faced the group of enemies in front of her. As she took a step forward, a cold and awe-inspiring aura spread out. The man stood in the air, ink flying in the air. His handsome face was expressionless as he coldly looked at the enemies in front of him. I still have the same words. If you want to enter June City, you must step over my Yun Xingya's corpse. When the experts on the other side heard Yun Xingya's voice, they all laughed out loud and quickly rushed towards Yun Xingya. Just him alone wanted to stop them? This was truly an idiot's dream. Bai Ling and Ning Xian stood beside Yun Xingya, one on the left and one on the right. At this moment, everyone was determined to die. At this moment, a familiar voice suddenly came from the air. This voice was filled with surprise as it slowly sounded in Yun Xingya's ears. Feng'er's second uncle, what happened here? Where are my father and the others? Within the void, 2 figures gradually appeared. The woman was dressed in a red robe that could topple a city. She looked valiant and formidable, while the man standing next to her had a gentle face like a spring breeze. You're back. When Yun Xingya saw the 2 people in the sky, a ray of light shot out from her cold eyes. Ever since Yun Luofeng had left, he had gone to look for Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen. However, he had not been able to find their whereabouts. He had not expected that they would actually appear now. Second brother, these 2 are, Bai Ling asked curiously as she looked at the man and woman descending from the sky. Sister-in-law, they are Shower's parents. Yun Xingya's heart slowly relaxed. You guys came at the right time. Feng'er left me 2 dragon saliva fruits. These dragon saliva fruits are also prepared for you guys. After you eat them, you can help me fight. Sister-in-law? Jun Fengling noticed the way Yun Xingya addressed Bai Ling. She raised her eyebrows and swept her gaze across Bai Ling's face. When she saw the face that was similar to Yun Luofeng's, a hint of surprise appeared in her eyes. Didn't Feng'er's mother pass away? Why would she still appear here? Of course, Jun Fengling also understood that this was not the time to ask about these things. She turned her gaze to Yun Xingya and asked, what is the dragon saliva fruit you're talking about? There's not much time left. I don't have time to explain it to you. Yun Xingya handed the dragon saliva fruit to the 2 of them. This is the dragon saliva fruit that Feng'er left behind. If there's anything else, I'll tell you after the battle is over. Chapter 21-26. All right. Jun Fengling trusted the Yun family and did not ask too many questions. She took the ambergris fruit and took a bite. Her mouth was filled with sweetness. At the same time, with a loud boom, a storm spiraled above her head. Not long after, heavenly lightning was born and struck down like a bolt of lightning. When Yun Xingya and the others broke through, they had the help of azure wings, which allowed them to easily pass the lightning tribulation. However, at this moment, Azure Wings was not in June City. Jun Fengling and Yi Jingchen could only rely on their own bodies to resist the lightning tribulation in the void. The lightning tribulation lasted for a long time in the sky above June City, causing the residents of the city to be extremely shocked. However, they still hid in their houses and did not dare to come out, afraid that they would be affected by the battle. Outside West City, Grandpa Jun and Hong Ling were also struggling to hold on. The few months of battle had almost exhausted them. If they did not deal with these people soon, they might not be able to defend West City. Grandpa, do you still have the spiritual medicine that Miss Yin left behind? Hong Ling asked with a pale face as he wiped the sweat off his forehead. I used it all yesterday. Jun Lintian laughed bitterly. East Continent's Lord, I asked you to come to June City to protect you. I didn't expect that I would need you to help me fend off these foreign enemies. Hong Ling smiled disapprovingly. I also obtained the ambergris fruit from Miss Yin. I can't just sit back and do nothing. Furthermore, his daughter was already dead, and this world didn't hold much attraction for him. If he could die on the battlefield, wouldn't it be a relief to him? Facing the menacing cultivators, Hong Ling gently closed his eyes. After a long time, he opened his eyes again. In the azure sky, it was as if Hong Luan's peerless figure had appeared. However, the figure was getting closer and closer. It was as if it could appear in front of him in the blink of an eye, and it was so real. Hong Ling fiercely rubbed her eyes and forcefully opened them once again. However, she suddenly discovered that a red figure was right in front of her. That absolutely stunning figure caused the corners of Hong Ling's mouth to rise into a bitter smile. It looks like I really miss Luan too much. I can actually see an illusion. I wonder when Luan will come and pick me up. Grandpa Jun also saw the enchanting figure in red. He rubbed his eyes filled with astonishment. You are fantasizing because you miss Hong Luan too much, but what about me? Too guilty? In addition to her fantasies, Hong Ling also heard a woman's soft murmur. Father, I'm back. Father, I'm back. Hong Ling opened his mouth and a tear rolled down from the corner of his eye. His lips curled into a bitter smile. If this is a dream, then I am willing to never wake up from this dream. In this way, his daughter would always be by his side, never to be separated. Boom! At this moment, the experts of Spirit God Continent had already launched their attacks. Rapidly arriving in front of Hong Ling's gaze was fixed on the dreamlike figure in front of her. From beginning to end, she was unable to come back to her senses. Jun Lintian's sharp eyes caught sight of Hong Ling in danger, and he turned pale with fright. East Continent Lord, watch out. Unfortunately, it was too late. Hong Ling looked at the incoming attacks and laughed. His laughter was filled with tears, and it was incomparably miserable. Luan, it's great that I can see you before I die. Chapter 21-27. Hong Ling believed that he was able to see Hong Luan's illusion because his death was near and his daughter had come to take him away. However, just as the enemy's attack was about to reach him, the woman who had been standing in front of him suddenly moved. With a casual kick, she sent the attacking expert flying. With a loud crash, he fell into the crowd. Hong Ling was stunned. Jun Lintian was dumbfounded. Everyone else stopped what they were doing and stared at the beautiful woman in blood-red robes in astonishment. Luan. Hong Ling stared at the woman in front of him. Luan was already dead, and her corpse was in Yun Luofeng's hands. How could she possibly be here? This must be an illusion. It must be. Hong Ling's body trembled uncontrollably as he thought this. He reached out to touch Hong Luan's face. Hong Luan grabbed Hong Ling's hand and placed his coarse fingers on her face. The warmth caused Hong Ling's fingers to stiffen. There's a touch and warmth. This isn't an illusion. It's the real Luan. At that moment, Hong Luan could no longer control his emotions. He opened his arms and pulled Hong Luan tightly into his embrace as he sobbed. You're back. You're finally back. No one knew how he had managed to continue living after his daughter's death. If it had not been for the fact that he could not let go of the East Continent, he would have followed her. Father, I'm back. Hong Luan allowed Hong Ling to hug her tightly as her lips curled into a smile and she spoke gently. Jun Lintian blinked in disbelief as he stared at Hong Luan's beautiful face in astonishment. Miss Hongwan, what's going on? I'll explain once I've dealt with everyone here. Hongwan raised his brows and turned to look at the group of cultivators behind him. If my guess is correct, you're all from the spirit god continent. You've killed me, and now you're trying to enter the 7 continents. Hongwan, you'll never be able to leave this place alive. Apart from the east and west districts, the south and north districts were also in danger. There were too many experts from the spirit god continent, and they kept coming. Even the divine sovereigns had sent a few more, which made it difficult for everyone to deal with them. However, when the southern city was in danger, Nangong Uni suddenly appeared. He was like a deity that descended from the heavens and defended the southern city that was about to fall. Huang Yingying and the others were originally guarding the southern part of the city. Now that she saw Nangong Uni appear out of thin air, a trace of surprise appeared in her eyes. Moreover, in the short span of a year, Nangong Uni's strength had actually changed so much. Young Master Nangong, Huang Yingying wanted to say something, but she could not find the words. In reality, Huang Yingying was very grateful to Nangong Uni. If it weren't for Nangong Uni's guidance, she wouldn't have been able to avenge her parents, let alone become Yun Luofeng's subordinate. What's the situation with the other city gates? Nangong Uni's voice was indifferent, his expression indifferent. That playful young man had unknowingly become a person who could take charge of things on his own. I'm not too sure. Nangong Uni pondered for a moment before he said, "Continue to guard the city gates. I'll go take a look at the other places." As soon as he finished speaking, Nangong Uni's faintly discernible figure disappeared. Chapter 21-28. Inside the city gate, on the quiet street. Yun Ruoxue looked behind her carefully. Seeing that no one had noticed her, she walked toward the city gate cautiously. By the way, which gate are Daddy and Mommy guarding? Yun Ruoxue lightly touched her forehead. With her poor memory, she had even forgotten where her parents had gone to guard the city gates. Forget it. I'll just look for a random gate. If it's not for Daddy and Mommy, I'll leave then. The corners of Yun Ruoxue's lips curved into a bright smile. But when she thought about how long this battle had been going on, her heart was filled with worry. Daddy, Mommy, I hope you don't blame me. I've already waited for you for a few months. Although Grandpa said that you wouldn't be in danger, I'm still worried. Yun Ruoxue bit her lip, her eyes filled with tears. But don't worry, I'll just sneak a peek. Once I see that you're safe, I'll leave. I won't be a burden to you. At this thought, Yun Ruoxue walked toward the street in front of her. She was heading in the direction of the North Gate. The person guarding the North Gate was the head of the Jun family, Jun Xian. He was struggling to deal with the enemies when he suddenly saw Yun Ruoxue sneaking out from the city gate. He was so shocked that his heart almost skipped a beat. Yun Ruoxue's eyes flashed with disappointment when she saw that it wasn't Yun Xingya and her husband guarding the North Gate. She pursed her lips and said, "Uncle Jun Xian, do you know where my parents are? I haven't seen them for a few months. I'm very worried about them." In the beginning, Yun Ruoxue had listened to Yun Xingya and her husband and waited obediently at the Jun residence. But she was still a child, and her parents had been fighting for months. How could she not be worried? So she sneaked out when no one was paying attention. Of course, she would definitely be punished when she returned. But so what? As long as she could be sure that her parents were safe, she was willing to be beaten up. Shui, hurry up and leave. Jun Xian shouted hurriedly. This is not a place for you to stay, especially where your parents are. You can't go. Uncle Jun Xian, tell me where Daddy and Mommy are. I'll just look at them from afar. Yun Ruoxue's eyes were filled with a pitiful light as she bit her lip and looked at Jun Xian. Just as Jun Xian was about to speak, he saw an elder not far away casually throw out a beam of light, which directly attacked Yun Ruoxue. Yun Ruoxue was still young, and she had thought that she would be safe if she hid behind the city gates. Little did she know that the battle between these experts did not care about distance. Therefore, Yun Ruoxue blinked as she stared at the sword light that had suddenly attacked her. For a moment, she was unable to react, and she even forgot to dodge. It was only when she was pulled into a warm embrace that she came back to her senses in a daze. The youth hugged Yun Ruoxue's body tightly and dodged to the side, avoiding the attack. His back was already drenched in sweat, and fear filled his heart. He didn't dare to imagine that if he had returned a step later, would he have been unable to see this little girl again? "Brother Wu Yin, you're back?" Yin Ruoshui giggled as she looked at the youth behind her. She seemed to be naturally slow-witted, and even the grave danger that had just occurred had been thrown to the back of her mind. Chapter 21-29. Shuei-er. Chung Wu-yin roared angrily. "Do you know that you almost died just now?" Yin Ruoshui blinked her big, innocent eyes. "I knew that Brother Wu-yin would definitely appear and save me. Shuei-er believes in you." "You." Chung Wu-yin was so angry that he did not know what to say. He looked at the innocent and ignorant little girl in front of him and could not even reprimand her. "Yin Ruoshui, did I owe you in my previous life? You won't be satisfied until you scare me to death, right?" Chung Wu-yin was gnashing his teeth in anger. He really owed this lass a lot in this lifetime. "Brother Wu-yin." Yin Ruoshui wrapped her arms around Chung Wu-yin's neck, a bright smile blossoming on her innocent little face. "You're right. You owe me in your past life. That's why Shuei-er wants to pester you." Although the young girl had not fully developed, her small body already had a faint fragrance. As the young girl approached, that faint fragrance also rushed into the tip of his nose. With a loud bang, Chung Wu-yin felt as if his head was about to explode. A crimson blush flashed across his face, and he hurriedly coughed twice to demonstrate his awkwardness. "You go and stay here first. I brought some people with me to settle this matter." Chung Wu-yin gently pursed his lips and said to the sky, "Long Yin, I'll have to trouble you to settle these people." Roar! A dragon's roar rang out, and not long after, Long Yin's huge body appeared in the void. That's right. The expert from the ancestral dragon clan who had come this time was Long Yin, who was ranked second in the ancestral dragon clan. He was also the dragon who had a dispute with Yin Luofeng. When Yin Luofeng left the spirit god continent, he told Chung Wu-yin that he could seek help from the dragon clan if needed. When Chung Wu-yin heard that the spirit god continent had joined forces to besiege the 7 continents, he immediately made a trip to the ancestral dragon clan. The ancestral dragon clan attached great importance to this matter, so the dragon clan leader sent Long Yin here. Under Long Yin's attack, the group of experts from the spirit god continent had long been defeated. After a while, they fell on the street in front of the city gate. The numerous corpses piled up into a small hill, and the entire sky was dyed red with blood. "Brother Wu-yin, I'm going to look for my parents." Yin Ruoshui clung onto Chung Wu-yin's body, her large eyes filled with worry. A few months ago, these people from a spirit god continent attacked the 7 continents. Father and mother also personally went to stop them. Now that a few months have passed, Shuei-er is very worried about them. "Where are your parents?" Hearing this, Yin Ruoshui turned to look at Jun Xian. "Uncle Jun Xian, can you tell me where my parents are now?" Jun Xian glanced at Chung Wu-yin before looking at the giant dragon hovering in the void. He nodded gently and said, "They are in the eastern part of the city. Apart from the north city, the other city gates also had their victors. Due to the return of Jun Fengling and Yi Jingshun in the eastern city, and, as Yin Luofeng had expected, they had used the power of the dragon's saliva fruit to break through to the divine monarch level. Therefore, the divine monarchs of the spirit god continent were quickly defeated. In the western part of the city was Hong Wan. Under Hong Wan's bloodlust, these people had no chance of escaping. Very soon, they all fell into a pool of blood. As for the southern city, the people who had besieged the southern city were not very strong. When Nangong Uni appeared, he killed the strongest few of them. It would not be a problem to leave the rest to the sacred maiden tribe." Chapter 21-30. At this moment, in the western part of the city, Nangong Uni had just arrived when he saw the woman chatting cheerfully with Hong Ling. His eyes widened and he rubbed them in disbelief. This, Hong Wan? He was not mistaken. Was it really Hong Wan? For a moment, Nangong Uni stopped in his tracks. He wanted to step forward a few times, but he did not have the courage. He could only stare blankly at her from a distance. He seemed to be afraid that if he took another step forward, Hong Wan would disappear. Hong Wan seemed to sense Nangong Yuni's gaze. She turned to look at the handsome man who had appeared next to her, and a smile appeared on her peerless face. Nangong Uni, long time no see. Don't you recognize me? The woman's voice was very familiar. It was the same as before, and it made Nangong Uni feel as if he had first met her. All sorts of feelings welled up in his heart at this moment. Agitation, excitement, or perhaps an indescribable feeling attacked his entire heart. Hong Wan, you're still alive? She was still alive? Was he dreaming? Hong Ling returned to her senses and asked, Luaner, can you tell me what's going on? You're clearly dead, and your corpse is with Miss Yin. Why are you here now? It's a long story. Hong Luan smiled. Back then, I really did die. I even went to the underworld. The underworld? Hong Ling was stunned. The underworld really existed? Originally, those who enter the underworld after death are unable to leave the underworld for the rest of their lives. If they appear on the mainland, their souls will immediately scatter. Hong Wan glanced at Hong Ling and continued. Hong Ling returned to her senses. Then why are you? Why can you still appear here? Father, no matter what kind of rules it is, as long as you have great power, you can break them. Hong Wan's expression was very serious. I was lucky and obtained a great opportunity. That was how I obtained great power in a short period of time. That was how I was able to break the rules of the heavenly way and return to the mainland. In other words, the current Hong Wan was still only a spiritual body. It was only because of her control over power that she was able to appear in a physical form. There was only one way to completely resurrect, and that was to resurrect through a well-preserved corpse. Miss Hong Wan, Grandpa Jun became excited. You said that a person can go to the netherworld after death. Then, can my deceased wife also be found in the netherworld? Hong Wan was startled. She remained silent for a long while. She seemed to be unable to bear it, but she still answered truthfully. The underworld is much more savage than the 7 continents. Large-scale massacres are frequent. Old Madame June has passed away for so many years. I can't guarantee that she's still in the underworld. Hearing that, Grandpa June sighed and smiled bitterly. Actually, I also know that this is just an extravagant hope of mine. So what if she is still in the netherworld? I can't get in and she can't get out. The separation of yin and yang was so cruel. The experts who came to attack the West City have been slaughtered. Let's go and help the people at the other city gates, Grandpa June said solemnly as he gradually regained his composure. Nangong Uni finally retracted his gaze from Hong Wan and looked at Grandpa June. I passed by the North City on my way here. The North City is no longer a problem. You don't need to go anymore. There's still the East City and the South City, Grandpa June said with a frown. Especially the East City. I'm afraid Yin Xingya won't be able to defend it. Chapter 21:31. Just as Old Master June finished speaking, he saw Yin Xingya and Ning Xian walking over hand in hand. His heart was finally at ease. The appearance of Yin Xingya here was also an indirect proof that the East City was already safe. However, Jun Lintian soon saw Jun Fengling and his wife behind Yin Xingya. His eyes widened and his tone became excited. Ling, are you back? In fact, Old Master June had sensed that someone was breaking through. However, he did not think that it was Jun Fengling. He thought that someone from Spirit God Continent had broken through. Now that he saw Jun Fengling and his wife, he suddenly realized something. Before Yin Qingyao left, she said that Ling and his wife were extremely talented. If they consumed the dragon saliva fruit, they would definitely break through to Divine Emperor, Old Master June. Old Master June returned just now. He was worried about you, so he asked us to come take a look. Now that the enemies have been slaughtered, Spirit Continent is finally safe. Hearing this voice, everyone present breathed a sigh of relief. Yin Xingya's gaze was originally on Jun Lintian, so she did not notice Hong Wan's presence. Now, when she turned her gaze, she saw Hong Wan and was completely stunned. Miss Hong Wan? Was he sure he wasn't seeing things? Why would Miss Hong Wan appear here? It's a long story. Let's go back and talk about it slowly. Jun Lintian sighed. Yin Xingya and Xiao have been gone for so long. I wonder when they will return. However, fortunately, after Yin Luofeng and the others did not return, They protected this pure land. Father, I heard about what happened here from Feng'er's uncle. Let's go back and talk about it. That bastard dared to invade the 7 continents. We cannot sit still and wait for death. A cold glint flashed across June Fengling's eyes. Her gaze became colder and colder, faintly containing a strong storm. All right, let's go back and talk about how to take revenge on those people. June Lintian was not that easy to deal with. If they dared to invade, they must be prepared to receive revenge. Spirit God Continent. Yution paced back and forth anxiously, looking very unhappy. Right at this time, several old men descended from the sky and slowly walked towards Yution. Yution, why did you call us here in such a hurry? The one who asked this question was a green-robed old man. He had an impatient expression on his face. Perhaps he was unhappy with Yution for disturbing their seclusion. I have no other choice now, so I asked you to come. Yution smiled bitterly. Do you still remember Zhu Qian? Zhu Qian? This name was like thunder piercing their ears, causing all of them to tremble. Some of them even revealed looks of terror, their faces faintly pale. To them, the name Zhu Qian was a nightmare. Why are you mentioning Zhu Qian now? That guy is already dead. The other gray-robed old man gritted his teeth, as if he was trying to force himself to believe that Zhu Qian had died. Furthermore, back then, Zhu Qian had suffered such heavy injuries. It was impossible for him to have survived. Zhu Qian is indeed dead. However, some time ago, I saw his reincarnation. Yution gently closed his eyes. Originally, he didn't want to tell these old men about this. However, he had no other choice now. Chapter 21:32. Zhu Qian's reincarnation? Are you sure you're not mistaken? The last elder was dressed in a golden yellow robe. He exuded a noble and awe-inspiring aura, and there was a lifelike dragon embroidered on his sleeves. His originally expressionless face began to change as Yution spoke. There's no way I'm mistaken. That's Zhu Qian's reincarnation. Yution lowered his eyes as the man's figure appeared in his mind. He gritted his teeth and said, although his personality has changed drastically, I can still recognize him even if he turns into ashes. However, you can rest assured that Zhu Qian's strength isn't as good as before. There's no need to be afraid. The few old men were stunned and stared at Yution suspiciously. If that's the case, why did you bring us here? Zhu Qian isn't in any danger, but Yution's lips curled into a bloodthirsty, murderous intent. I saw a little girl who has an extraordinary relationship with Zhu Qian. Her talent is even more terrifying than Zhu Qian's back then. If she's allowed to grow, the consequences will be unimaginable. The former Zhu Qian was already a nightmare in their hearts. Now, there was a little girl who is even more terrifying than Zhu Qian. Yution, are you trying to deceive us? Zhu Qian's talent is already strong enough. How can there be someone stronger than him? Besides, it's just a little girl. What did she do to us? The yellow-clothed old man, Feng Yongqing, had a disdainful look on his face. He was even more disapproving of Yution's words. Yution smiled coldly when he saw their expressions. That little girl is only in her 20s and has already reached the ultimate god realm. Do you think Zhu Qian could reach the ultimate god realm at her age? The few old men were shocked. An ultimate god in her 20s? She's not just a genius. She's a monster. Not only that, but she can also make the Dragon Clan side with her. Just now, I sent people to the 7 Continents continent, intending to eliminate her and the people from the 7 Continents continent. Not long ago, the Dragon Clan heard the news and immediately sent that bastard Long Yin to the 7 Continents continent to help. Yution's words made the few old men even more surprised. The patriarch of the ancestral Dragon Clan was an extremely arrogant person. How could he help a human girl? This was completely illogical. Moreover, the man next to this girl is also very young, but he has already reached Sir God. I feel that if I were to fight with him, I would only be able to win by a narrow margin. Yution was already the ruler of this piece of land. He was basically invincible. Yet, he claimed that he did not have complete confidence in defeating a divine lord, and that he could only win by a narrow margin. Since when did the continent have so many geniuses? If these things don't shock you, I can tell you one more thing. Do you still remember that Zhu Qian's puppet technique shocked everyone in the world? Moreover, the reason we chased after him back then was also to obtain this puppet technique. Yu Tian threw down another heavy blow. Unfortunately, even Zhu Qian could only refine puppets without souls. It was normal for a puppet to have no soul. What Zhu Qian had been researching all these years was to give a puppet life. Unfortunately, he was unable to figure it out until his death. However, Yu Tian paused, then continued. A few months ago, I fought with that girl. She had a puppet by her side. This puppet already possessed life and was no different from a normal person. Boom! Yu Tian's last sentence was like a heavy blow. The few old men's faces turned pale with fright. Chapter 21:33. That girl actually has such an ability? No, she must die. Otherwise, the threat she poses to us will far exceed that of Zhu Qian. The gray-robed elder, Kong Fengling, frowned as a murderous aura appeared in his eyes. Yu Tian, where's that girl now? The 7 continents. Yu Tian gritted his teeth. I think that girl won't dare to leave the 7 continents. Otherwise, we can kill her immediately. The 7 continents. The green-robed elder, Wei Xiang, was stunned. Then he fell in a deep thought. As the rulers of the spirit god continent, it was impossible for them to leave the spirit god continent. If they continued to wait, that last would grow even faster. Everyone, I've asked all of you to come here because I've already thought of a way. Yu Tian smiled slightly as a sinister light flashed in his eyes. This girl is rather loyal. Back then, she killed her way into the spirit god continent because the people of the spirit god continent had captured her disciple's mother. If we attack the ancestral dragon clan, that girl will definitely appear. The ancestral dragon clan? The few old men were stunned for a moment, and then they all fell silent. I know that fighting the ancestral dragon clan is risky. After all, they are very powerful. However, we were able to drive them out of the humans' territory back then. That has already proved that we humans are far more powerful than the dragon clan. Yu Tian continued with a smile. Furthermore, if the 4 of us join forces, that old man from the ancestral dragon clan will not be our match. Wei Xiang frowned again. Back then, we only forced the ancestral dragon clan to leave. We did not kill them all because the 5 of us are the core of the spirit god continent. None of us can be missing. If even one of us is missing, the spirit god continent will immediately collapse. If it collapses, then so be it. Yu Tian's lips curled. We've already reached this realm. We can't make any more breakthroughs. As for the true gods, they are also legendary existences. If the spirit god continent collapses, this space will cease to exist. The people of the spirit god continent will only merge with the 7 continents. They will not cause us any harm. When the others heard this, they did not say anything else. It was indeed as Yu Tian had said. They could not achieve anything. Since that was the case, why would they still guard the spirit god continent? Of course, there was a reason why Yu Tian hadn't thought about leaving spirit god continent. He only knew how to become the core of the formation, but he didn't know how to remove it. So, it was impossible for him to leave spirit god continent, even if he wanted to. All right, let's do that. Feng Yongqing immediately made a decision. We cannot let that girl continue to grow. Otherwise, she will definitely endanger our existence. Only when she dies can we be at ease. But if we use the ancestral dragon clan as a threat, will that girl really appear? Yu Tian sneered. I am just trying my luck. If she can appear, it would be for the best. If she does not appear, we will immediately kill that old man from Dragon Clan. At that time, the restrictions on our bodies will also be lifted, and it will be the same to go to the 7 continents. When Yu Tian finished speaking, no one said anything else. They had already tasted the difficulties that Zhu Qian had brought them. This time, they absolutely couldn't let the same thing happen again. Since that's the case, we'll set off for the Dragon Clan now. Kong Fengling was silent for a moment as he looked at the azure sky outside the door. We can't be blamed for this. Blame that lass for knowing Zhu Qian and growing so quickly.